Coming of age in the 1980s, the Brat Pack was near the center of your cultural awareness. But for those of us experiencing it from the inside, the Brat Pack was something very different. On June 10th, 1985, New York Magazine published Hollywood's Brat Pack. I just remember seeing that cover and thinking, oh. From then on, my career and the career of everyone who was involved was branded to the Brat Pack.
I'm really sorry that article had to come out.
I've never talked to anybody about what that was like. So I thought it might be interesting to try and contact everyone who was in the Brat Pack. Hey, Emilio Estevez. This is Andrew McCarthy calling you. Hey, Allie. Hey, Demi. Hey, Molly. Let's call Rob. Hello. Judd? Me? You around? You were not interested in talking about the Brat Pack for years.
I turned everything down.
How come you're talking to me?
Because you called me. It was time that we clear the air on a couple things.
I love your stuff, Bob. Hey, thank you. I hated the Brat Pack for decades. What a disaster. If you could have the Brat Pack name not exist, would you?
It really irritated me. They said, what's more important to you, the movie or your life? And I said, the movie, Andrew.
Have you talked to the others? The others, like, again, it feels like a cult or something.
Yeah.
Why did we take it as an offense?
Well,
as opposed to like
the brat.
Because we were young.
We were afraid we were brats, you know. Are you in the Brat Pack?
I'm Brat Pack adjacent.
That's what I was saying.
I am not in the Brat Pack.
Crush on you back in the day?
You did not, Andrew. No, you did not.
Being in the Brat Pack not only changed all of our lives, it changed what entertainment is. I mean, I'm not going to say we were the Beatles or anything.
Well, we didn't fill Shea Stadium. There were moments.
We could have. 1985? I think we could have.
So what are you filming?
Oh, we're just doing this documentary.
What's it about?
Ancient history.
Will you call my name?
Ancient history indeed. Ancient 1980s history, a crucial period of my life. And I can't tell you how heartened I was to see that this documentary was being made by Andrew McCarthy. And we're going to get right into that tonight, as well as other important world topics like the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders documentary, which, of course, is a vital intellectual, educational narrative that any outstanding citizen should watch, particularly men aged between the age of 18 to 56. So let me bring in my regular co-host, Stupenzo.
Yo. Just got done watching Double Impact.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I think I saw a porno once called
we were supposed to go live at like 6 p.m. We were like, hey, we'll go after Lance's show at like 6:30, sleep in. And then Toxic was like, I got off work early. Can we go early? You want to go early? And then Luke, confused, was like, yeah, 6 p.m. is 20 minutes from now for him. So yeah, we ended up doing it at 12:30, which I'm glad. It's a good way to start your day, watching Double Impact. Works like a better than breakfast.
Well, Toxic's been badgering me to come onto this stream, and as he's the reason that you're all going to be knackered and low energy, then the answer is no. So let's move on. But that's not the real reason. I'm just teasing. Yeah, that's an old film, but I mean, man, it's going to look like a work of genius compared to many action films.
It was fun. Yeah, we enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I did watch that Brat Pack movie that you were advertising earlier. It was strange
documentary.
Yeah, documentary.
Well, it was. Well, we'll get into it. Let's get into it when everybody's here. But I've got a lot to say about it, and of course, I grew up.
Am I the only one here right now, or is everyone in the back room?
No. I'm just building anticipation for other arrivals.
Okay.
Of course, we have.
It's a rush. Calm down.
In the house. I like the way you're just to the left of a really attractive woman, and that may be the closest in a while.
It's like her microphone completes his microphone screen completes the boob. Move your hand.
Yeah.
It literally is a weird optical illusion I'm seeing.
I might just have to keep Northern out in order to maintain that symbiotic
Yeah.
image there.
The trio.
Mama.
But unfortunately, here he is.
No, take me out. I'll make the sacrifice. Keep the boobs in place.
No.
No, you're good. I don't know if Inside Man's joining us tonight or not. I haven't heard from him. It's possible that he's got his time wrong and he could be passed out.
Well, I got something that I watched this week that he recommended, so we'll talk about. He'll be here in spirit if he doesn't show up.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, that'll be an outrageous B movie, which I'm sure will be very.
Oh
insane.
no.
Well, before we dive into whatever that may be, we're going to cover some other things. We're going to cover everything that's in the scrolling list in front there. But shall we start with the Brat Pack documentary by Andrew McCarthy, or do you want to start with Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders? My panel can vote.
Let's let the chat decide.
All right, yeah, let's let chat decide. It's only 4 people.
Because I watched Brat's. I'm just hearing about this cheerleader thing today when I was asking what you wanted on the thumbnail. You're like, I know exactly what I want. I want what exactly did you say? Hang on. Let me look this up. This is funny. I keep in mind I just woke up early, like to feed the cat, thinking I was gonna go back to sleep, and cool. I happened to be checking my messages, finding out that we're gonna do Double Impact all of a sudden right now, and I'm like, okay. And then you're telling me I know exactly what I want for the thumbnail. I want Camille from the Dallas Cheerleaders. She's Cammie Sturdy on Insta. I'm like, what the fuck does any of this mean? Who?
it means I wanted Camille.
I was like, what reality show have you been watching?
I have been watching a reality show from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. It's on Netflix. Obviously, it's a very compelling narrative, and I'll get into the many reasons.
Is it about current Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, or back when they were a dynasty in the 90s?
Well, it's got a bit of history about it. I mean, cool. There is although we can make lots of jokes about pretty ladies, and we will.
Yeah, I guess the fan dad said the thing with the boobs we'll talk about. So let's just talk about the cheerleaders. So, sure.
All right. Well, don't get me wrong. This is a documentary that's full of a lot of pretty women, and a lot of people will watch it for that reason. American Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders. That's the name of the documentary, and sure, it's very much their version of. It's not a warts and all documentary. That would need to be done by a third party.
Okay.
So you're getting very much the version of the story that they want to see. But that's not why I think it's really good television. Gorgeous women aside, and here are some of the ones that appear in the show. Unfortunately, my favorite.
Is that the name of the show, America's Sweethearts?
It is. My favorite lady is not in that still, which
it's
I think
this one on the thumbnail, right?
Yeah, because I think they thought a really dark-skinned girl was going to spoil the aesthetic for that.
Well, to be honest, as a designer, your eyes would be drawn, your eyes would be drawn stronger. You want it to be kind of even, because you want So it's one of those things where you throw whenever you have like the spy or the Shaft guy with like the three hot girls, he's got like a blonde, brunette, or a redhead, and then a black chick, or maybe he's got like a white chick, an Asian chick, and a black chick. But the point is, your eyes are all usually like automatically like gravitate to the thing that is like attracting the most attention, and someone who's like darker like that in this particular photo. No, I get it. From a purely design point of view, she's in plenty of stuff. I'm such a fucking simple man that I'm just noticing the star right now.
Let me get into why I think this show is good, and then we can expunge on the design minutiae of this particular still. So, cheerleaders for me, and I actually worked at the Syracuse Dome back in the I think it was 1989 or something, and I was a security guard on the line. And this was a Saturday practice day during the day, and all the college, sort of high school college teams, they all came to play matches that day, one after the other. And I was actually positioned right behind the cheerleaders, This is back in the day before that movie came out. What's the one about the cheerleading competition? Is it Set It Off?
No, Bring It On.
Bring It On, right? Okay, Set It Off.
Set It Off was that awesome bank robbery.
Set It Off is the bank robbery film. Yeah. Okay. So, Bring It On, right? So this is way back before that. When I'm going to say that the routines were more mundane, shall we say? They were not as ambitious. When I watched this documentary, although I will admit I was drawn to the documentary by the images of pretty ladies, and late at night you just want to whack something on that you can fall asleep to and whatever.
Excuse me? I what?
Just when I go to bed at 2:00 in the morning, I always put on something that I don't have to think about it too much.
You said whack something on.
Yeah, whack means wanking in America.
Yeah, I will whack it on means like stick the DVD in. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. Can't take
you wanted to put on
finish my point, please. I'm gonna have to take people out of this. Right. So the reason I found myself watching like 3-4 episodes because not only did I start getting really invested in these individuals, and I was kind of thinking, I really want this one to get through, and I really want this one to get through because there are 36 places on the squad. They have tryouts every year. You can do 5 years maximum, so you always get returning veterans that come back to try out for a place. And the routines that they do and the things that they have to do, like the jump up and the splits and shit. It is proper intense, man. Yeah. And I couldn't believe the level of the dance skills, because don't forget my mother was a ballerina and a choreographer, so I've been brought up on all this stuff. And the standard of skill sets that these ladies have to have is not something I've ever fully appreciated before. And I've never. I think they've done other documentaries or other whatever you want to call them, doco soaps about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. I've never seen any of them before. I just happened to catch this one because I've got a Netflix account. But I was very, very impressed by just like the sheer dedication, blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to become a cheerleader. So you could say that this program has educated me, and I now have the utmost respect for these women because it is a really fucking difficult job. I just never realized the amount of effort that goes into this, this halftime show that these girls do, or and all the rest of it. And they've got a particular routine that they do. I think it's called the Thunderstruck or something, and it's intense. And the audition process is intense, and you get introduced to the women running the course and the auditions and the various characters involved. And a lot of these girls are daughters of women who were Dallas cheerleaders back in the 80s and 90s as well. So it's like a mother-daughter thing, rite of passage. It's a really interesting doc. And I was drawn in by the pretty ladies, and there are a lot of pretty ladies in it. And I have to admit that's a burden you have to endure when you're watching this documentary. But I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was going to be kind of very mundane and a bit dumb, and it wasn't at all. I really have a lot of respect for these people now. They really fucking break their bodies to do this job.
It's being from
incredible.
I'm from Texas. I totally could have guessed that the big appeal for this show would have been the athletics, because it is, that what was it? Any Given Sunday? No, not Any Given. Varsity Blues. Varsity Blues. You know how they take that football so seriously in Texas? Well, that's how it is. But that's also how it is with every extracurricular activity in Texas. It is all about getting to states, getting to finals, and the amount of work you put into it. And that's high school. And dude, I remember when I was in marching band, you'd watch the professional, the Blue Devils, the professional drum lines that are these professional drum corps, and the stuff they're doing is superhuman. The same thing with cheerleaders. You're a varsity cheerleader in high school. Yeah, dude, you watch the Dallas cheerleaders and all the stuff. And that's the thing. It's not just the athletics, the cartwheels and the human somersaults and the flinging each other. It's also you have to be at level 11, the smiles, the pep, the woo, nonstop. You can't be You can't be like, I'm just not feeling it today. You know, you can't. You have to be
No.
110% all the time. It's annoying. It's obnoxious. Like, it's to the point where, like, but that's the job. The job is to literally be like, all right, guys, like, hell yeah, fuck yeah, for like for hours. I couldn't imagine. That's the hardest part of the job, I'd imagine. I could not do that.
It's almost like these ladies are like the Delta Force of world dancers. They're like the special.
They're
forces.
elites. Yeah,
they are.
Navy
They
SEALs,
are like
yeah.
elite special forces
Dude,
of the
watch
dance world.
check out-
It's incredible.
You know, like good drummers, right? Check out the Blue Devils or the Blue Knights or any of these like insane drum corps. These guys do like one-handed rolls in complete syncopation while they're walking around. And, you know, a lot of people like watch it at a halftime show and you're like, yeah, this is cool. But yeah, when you watch like the making of and you realize how much work goes into it and how much rehearsals and how much time. And the other thing I think I would like to see, I hope it talks about the show you're talking about. Does it talk about like the beautification, the regimens they have to do just like outside of practice? Like,
Oh
diet,
God, yeah, no, that's all in there.
Their social life. What is that like? Is it non-existent or they still have time to party?
At the minute, I've only seen 4 episodes, and right now it's kind of all about they're just, you know, the final 2 girls have just been kicked off, and kind of what's really annoying is all the girls that I was rooting for, some of which may have been ethnic, were all the first ones to get kicked off, and I was like, no, you can't kick her off, you can't kick her off, and then, you know, there's one-to-one interviews with like key characters, one of whom is called Victoria. I don't know if there's a name of her here.
So
and she does all this kind of self-help therapy and stuff like that, and it's a real insight into her mental health and her fragility, which she speaks about at some length. And I actually found her story like really quite earnest, even though yes, everyone's playing for camera, and yes, we know it's a chance to be on TV and all the rest of it. I found her I thought I was going to find her unauthentic, but actually she kind of dropped her facade a bit, and you got this very authentic, in some ways quite sad story, and I just wanted to give her a massive hug. It's nuts. So I never thought I'd be quite drawn in to such a great degree on a documentary about cheerleaders. And like I said, I'll put my hand up and say, of course, the pretty ladies are the thing that get you there, but it is actually a really well-made, engrossing show.
Well, I have a couple questions.
Yeah,
like it's about tryouts. Who makes it? Who decides? Is it like a committee of other cheerleaders, or is it like the football coaches?
Right. So the two ladies who run it are veterans, and in fact, there's some pictures of them here. Funnily enough, on this photo, this girl Darian and this girl whose name currently escapes me, they were 2 of the first 2 girls to get knocked off. They're both ethnic. And I, of course, you know, I was rooting for
it's them damn racist Dallas Popes. No,
there's a couple of black girls in the
team.
Yeah,
why is your favorite girl your favorite? Whatever.
Well, she got through. She's absolutely stunning. She looks like an ex of mine. She kind of reminds me of her. Super positive energy and shit. This is Victoria, who's a 4-year veteran. The blonde lady, it's cut to a video now, but it was a still of hers. I better not show too much video otherwise.
Right.
This lady here.
Well, if it's on social media, honestly, I think it's safe. If it's on Instagram or Twitter, I know you can say.
This is one of the ladies who does the audition tryouts, and I mean, it's funny how many similarities there are to the kind of auditions that we do for films and theatre, because they're putting them all up on screen on like a massive screen, so they can see what they will look like on the actual day. You know, it's pretty nuts.
This girl is too young to be getting cosmetic surgery.
I'm going to talk about her in a sec. I once lived next to 2 pro cheerleaders at the time. They worked for the LA Clippers, and then one became LA Raiders cheerleader. Is there more to the story there, Sean? If there is, please do put it in the chat. This girl is really young. She's a rookie. She makes the squad, and she's also very religious. And she has just got engaged to her very first boyfriend. She's never dated anyone else. Bless her. She's ever so sweet. And you can see like the older lady who's
Well,
running.
why did she get a nose job then? Or
I don't know if she has. Has she had a nose job? I can't tell.
Look, maybe.
Well,
or she has the nose that every nose job wants to have. You know?
No,
like
I think that's on that.
Maybe she was in an accident and had to get plastic surgery. I don't know. I mean, who knows?
Don't be.
She's
like
pretty. She's pretty.
Yeah, she's pretty. Okay, good.
Let's
Let's leave that there.
I'm not talking about that woman specifically. I'm just saying in vague generalities. Young people, don't get plastic surgery. Just wait till you're 40, 50 at least. As far as the veterans goes, like that's just something I wanted to know because like this is kind of the appeal about the fact that football season's only a few months, and it kind of works that way because I don't know about if how it is with football. I know football players have more leisure time, but when you're in fucking marching band, you basically eat, breathe, and sleep marching band. And I know like when you watch Varsity Blues and these Texas sports movies, that's all you do. When you're not playing football, you're thinking about football. And when you're not, working or doing schoolwork, you basically have to go to bed. You have no time to party and do fun things with other your friends because you're just too busy doing football, trying to win.
Varsity Blues was a one-off movie. The show you're thinking of is Friday Night Lights.
That's it. Because there was a movie and a show and all that stuff.
There was a movie directed by
Billy Bob Thornton. Yeah.
Peter Berg directed the movie.
See,
it's got that amazing.
I was thinking of Varsity Blues with James Vanderbeek, but I knew there was more than one Texas football. Because seriously, Texas takes it seriously, and Dallas, I'd have Salmon would be no different. But the other thing is, like, I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if during cheerleading season, you're basically eating, breathing, living cheerleading all day, every day. Because even when you're out and about, it's like, I got to watch these calories. I can't do this. I can't, you can't break or you can't be doing like fun things like skydiving or cliff jumping or anything fun like that. Your appendages are too.
Found out Menace could do it. Piece of cake. By the way, Northern, if he wants to come on, send him the link, man.
He means being chipper and happy. That's what he could do. Piece of cake.
DJ Play Nice is here. Good to see you.
Okay.
Lord Toxic is here, of course. Already restraining orders against him about going to.
So, but basically, you're saying the show doesn't dabble too much into their personal lives, like their day-to-day outside of cheerleading?
Look, it's a sanitized version of what I don't think the show does well is shine a light on probably the darker side of having to do this job, but what it does
getting heckled and harassed and
that heckled and harassed and probably also
ogled.
But this is the lady who runs the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, Kelly Finglass, and she's actually an ex cheerleader herself, I think from either the late 80s or early 90s. By the way, she looks fucking incredible. I don't know how old she is, but she looks incredible, and it's quite funny. She's doing a talk, and at one point, yeah, ladies, but this is Botox. And she kind of has a really funny sense of humor and an extremely difficult job. I was very impressed with her. This is, I haven't seen this guy on the channel before. The From Page 25 Screen Media channel. Closest I ever got to the world of cheerleading was renting Bring It On from the video store. Mate, you sound like you're a fellow YouTuber. If you ever want to come on for a collab, let me know. Just hit me up via Lance Nielsen WD on Twitter. All my links
it's
are below.
Been brought in.
Bring It On's pretty funny too.
Yeah.
What's that?
Bring It On's that's a funny movie.
Which one? Bring It On. Yeah, Bring It On's good. I like the whole thing where everybody goes to the same gay choreographer and they've all got the same routine, and that's a pretty funny.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
It's listen, it's a good show if you want something. If you're a guy and you're chucking on some beers, and thank you, 59 years old. That's not too old for me if she's single. Just putting it out there, Kelly.
Me neither.
Damn, man.
So
Helen Mirren isn't too old for me.
That's an appropriate age for me. I probably would suggest. But it's. I think it's like I said. The thing that's why I like the show is I didn't know, for example, that most of these girls also have a full-time job. So there's like one of them is a nurse. She comes in from her shift. She goes to training. She trains until midnight. She gets home from training. She flops into bed at 1 o'clock. She wakes up at 6.
Yeah.
She goes to the hospital, does her shift, and then she goes back to training again in the evening. And then her weekends, when she's got the day off, she's doing the shows. That's how bad these people.
That's how it's like.
Be
okay, good.
You know,
because it I don't want the show to disillusion young ladies thinking that it's a breeze. It's
no,
hard.
no. Oh God, no! It absolutely doesn't do that.
It's all you do. It's all you do is cheerleading. But that's why it's a seasonal thing. It's like a Santa Claus gig. You know, it's like you do it for 3 months, and because you couldn't do that year round, all year round, you'd go for crazy. You know, it's not sustainable. That's why you do these things in seasons.
I think I forgot to send Inside Man the link, so I'm just doing that now. So he may be popping on.
Lance, you know that film Blue Chips. That's why that's such a great movie for, because you know these college basketball kids, they're starving, they have no money, they're broke, and they wonder why, you know, they do stuff on the side because they're not getting paid. And the NCAA, you know, these guys got bills to pay, and you want them to be training 24/7 and to be living inside the court of the field, and then they have no money. So they
anyway, this is Camille Sturdivant, who is the girl who's on the. Who earlier you were filling in for part of her body, Blue Collar Loser, I think this account is fake. Incidentally, if you look at the friends list on it, you'd understand why. But it's a good photo. So I was proper made up that she made it through, because she's the dead spitting image of a girl I dated one time, and so I was kind of rooting for her to get in, and she got in. And I remember when she put the booty shorts on. The costume lady went, "Wow, she was kind of born to wear those shorts, right?" And I was thinking, yeah. So good on her. Well done. But yeah, it's a good show. I mean, like I said initially, I was kind of drawn to that. Oh yeah, Pretty Women. I'll watch that before I go to sleep. But I actually stayed up to watch 3 episodes because I was so invested in who's going to get through. I really want my favorite girls to get through. I want them to get on the squad, and it's sanitized, sure, but it's good television. It's very good television. So, and Sean Innes has said, because he has researched this topic for his new book called "I Wish I Held Pom-Poms, But I'm a Boy," Dallas Cheerleaders are really a premier organization. It's been a large cottage side business for the Cowboys franchise since the 1970s. That is correct. They do cover some of the history of that, so it's all in there. So all right, that's enough. That's our cheerleading section out of the way. Although I know Toxic wants to come on camera with some pom poms later, so we'll maybe come back to that. So let's talk about the brat. Let's talk about the brats thing, as we did a big intro for that. Who is a fan of the films of John Hughes? On the panel.
Yeah, I like his stuff.
Everybody, huh?
Favorite John Hughes movie?
Enzo?
Dutch
with Ed O'Neill.
That's a good movie.
He wrote that movie, yeah. I want to say, that's also a really good Thanksgiving movie. But other good John Hughes, like, you know, I love Weird Science when you talk about like the classic 80s stuff. Weird Science was one of my favorites.
I think for me, it's, if I had to pick one above all others that John Hughes produced, the number one for me would definitely be Trains, Planes, and Automobiles. That pips Breakfast Club just a little bit over the simply because of the that's that last scene with John Candy. You know, Marie's been dead for 8 years. Fuck, gets me.
Spoilers, dude.
Every time. Well, come on, everyone's seen it now.
Whoa, no, not according to some people, right, Luke?
Well, Luke, have you not seen Trains, Planes, and Automobiles?
No.
It's brilliant.
Luke is complaining about someone else who was yelling at him for spoiling some 40-year-old movie.
Okay. Inside Man, you're in the green room, but your devices are not connected, so I can't add you yet. So sort your connections out. But I mean, obviously, like within a breadth's hair of that, I would say Breakfast Club. Breakfast Club, absolutely, almost parallel to it, really. And,
Yeah, I kind of like his more mature stuff. Especially, I like Uncle Buck as well. That's another good John Hughes.
Yeah,
one.
but here's a more appropriate question. What were some of your favorite Brat Pack members and Brat Pack movies? Because it wasn't just John Hughes. There's also
no, that's right.
St. Elmo's Fire and what are the other big Brat Pack movies? Let's see.
I've only seen The Breakfast Club. I have not seen the rest of the Brat Pack stuff, if I'm being honest.
St. Elmo's Fire, The Outsiders, Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Class, 16 Candles, Weird Science, Oxford Blues. There you go. One Crazy Summer, About Last Night, Young Guns, Less Than Zero.
I mean, it depends if you're including original Brat Pack and Brat Pack adjacent.
Right.
And Brat Pack adjacent includes people like Kevin Bacon and you know, but
Leah Thompson, like we saw earlier in the trailer.
Leah Thompson, yeah. I always had a bit of a crush on Ali Sheedy. I just kind of, I don't know.
Dude, remember when me and Blue Collar watched Man's Best Friend? Her running around getting chased by that killer dog.
Yep,
that's a good one. Short Circuit, she's amazing in that one.
True.
Ali Sheedy's great because she had that girl next door vibe. You know, she was like pretty. She's also in Home Alone. She's the checkout girl.
Let's talk about the documentary because I've seen it. I think Stupenzo's seen it.
Yep.
There's some things I want to say about it. I think it's good, but I think it needs a part 2.
It was a bit pretentious.
It's yeah. Okay.
It really showcases Andrew McCarthy's narcissism, B his kind of like bitterness about his kind of, you know, not so successful career compared to some of his other Brat Pack counterparts. A lot of the documentary is him tracking down his Brat Pack adjacent people. They're all like, they haven't spoken to him in 30 years, basically suggesting he's kind of a flaky friend maybe. And he's basically asking for interviews on camera to ask, like, what did they think about being labeled the Brat Pack and how shitty that was and how it like ruined everything. And most of them were like, I didn't really mind it. I thought it was weird.
Well, I mean, let's caveat a couple of things there. First of all, contrary to popular opinion, apart from on a couple of occasions briefly at the time, these guys did not hang out together, as most actors don't, from one project to the next.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that Andrew hadn't spoke to all of them in 30 years. They hadn't spoken to each other for the most. Of course. So he wasn't alone in that. I very much was alive to that impact of that article at the time, even though I was like super young, because I was already starting to list actors I wanted to work with. I was watching Barry Norman's Film 85, Film 86, etc., and he did a special on it, and I remember him talking about it, and I was thinking, this is bullshit. This is just like, there's a load of guys that happen to have appeared in a couple of the same movies, and somehow that they're now the Brat Pack. And it was almost like, it definitely was perceived as even from the public, it was perceived as a bit of a self-entitled stain. So when he turns around and makes the comment, I don't think Martin Scorsese was going to employ everybody for anyone that was associated with that article. I think he's completely justified in making that comment, because it went through the industry like shit through a goose, that these people were a bit precious. They might be difficult to work with. Did you want a Brat Pack actor leading your film, or did you want the next, Tom Cruise?
Yeah,
you see, I didn't actually perceive it in that way, to be honest with you, because I just thought it was, you had this small group of actors, fairly small group of actors, and we had the Rat Pack. And it was just kind of an extension of that. And I think it was more of a marketing tool than anything. And those studios like Universal and Paramount in particular, they lapped it up. They UIP, they were kind of really pushing that.
Well, when you watch the documentary, like some of the actors were talking about how like they didn't really mind the title, they thought it was catchy, and then some of them were like very upset by it because like Lance is saying, it like paints them in a negative light, like their off-screen antics and stuff, and B, it also kind of like lumps them together, because like what's interesting about Lance And yeah, maybe even like Wes and Gary is like, you know, because the idea they talk about in the documentary that was interesting was like, this is the first time that these movies started becoming very youth centric. Like all the movies seem to have young protagonists.
Yeah.
And that was like very common. Whereas in the 50s and 60s, that was like very rare. And it's like, seems like all these big mainstream, all ages, adult movies, but they're starring teenagers, young people growing up. So you have all these young actors playing all these roles, leading roles. Like these movies are tailored for like Lance's demographic at the time. So that's why it's interesting.
Yeah.
I was like 5 years old, you know, like whatever.
I don't think it was a particularly, you know, detrimental label either in terms of, you know, it shouldn't have. I mean, if some of them perceived it as being detrimental to them personally, and you know, then maybe those were the ones that were particularly precious.
I don't think the label was bad per se. By the way, hi. I don't think the label was bad, but if you read the article, and they go into some detail of the article in the this thing, that does, you know, I think that the quote was something to the effect of, the Brat Pack is like the Rat Pack, but they've not done any of the work to get to the places that they've gotten in their
Right.
and I'm paraphrasing.
It all happened because Emilio Estevez let this like reporter come and do a piece on him, and he basically went out and had dinner with him and his friends, and it's like a big party. And Emilio thought that this guy was his friend and just being himself and opening up and doing you know all this stuff. And they paint this picture of what Emilio and his friends are like, and then a bunch of people that weren't even at this dinner, you know, they're all labeled as the Brat Pack as well. And people that acted with these people are also labeled.
It's a catchy name.
Yeah, it was.
You know? So, I mean, that was a big worse things.
That was a big part. Was like some guy trying to explain to Andrew McCarthy like why it caught on and why it made sense, and he was very like resistant to the idea. Like he's very bitter about the idea. You could tell like based on his motives for making the documentary and his questionings. It's kind of using it as a crutch for his, like, maybe my career wasn't as great as I wanted it to be because I was a Brat Pack. I don't know. That's like the subtext I'm getting from the guy.
But listen, I think that's okay. I think actually he exposed a truth, a vulnerability about himself that he wants to deal with. And I think that's fine. I actually quite respect him for doing that. He also went and confronted the guy who wrote the original article, which was a bit of an ambush piece. Basically, this guy went on a dinner with Emilio Estevez. A load of other people turned up. They all kind of got pissed. And Emilio got very comfortable. So was talking about all kinds of shit. It was a very relaxed environment. I guess Emilio thought some of the things were going to be off the record. The guy was like, well, I'm a writer for New York Times magazine.
Yeah.
I've kind of got onto a lucky streak here. I'm making notes of all this, and this is going to be a massive article. And some of the things in the article are not going to be pleasant. And the guy did admit that he wasn't proud of some of the things he said in the article. But when McCarthy said it, and it's quite an interesting moment in the doc, would you change anything if you could go back in time? Would you change those things? He said no.
Yeah.
And I respect the reporter for saying that, because it probably was the right. He was doing his job at the end of the day. And if the actors had been a bit more savvy, they would have been a bit more careful around reporters and whatnot. But I guess
know it's cool to see this documentary because Demi Moore and all these actors are in it, but really, like, he's the best part of the documentary. The journalist, he's amazing. He steals the show.
The journalist is good. Emilio is good. Ali Sheedy is as lovely.
They're all
and
great,
fluffy as you would expect her to be. Demi Moore is far more grounded in it than I thought she would be.
Yeah,
I was disappointed that we didn't get Judd Nelson. I know people that know Molly Ringwald well, so I know why she didn't do it. But I think it would be good to do a part 2 of this and actually talk to a whole load of other people that were around at that time, because there are a lot more of them. I mean, this is the core group, but you know, if they could do an interview with Kevin Bacon and well, we can't do Patrick Swayze sadly because he's no longer with us. Charlie Sheen would be good to get in there. You know, and Molly
I don't know about that one. I may not be such a
gold mine. That's a gold mine. Come on,
that's a bit of a stretch. You might be stretching. You might be stretching it a little bit there.
No, Andrew McCarthy's trying to make Breakfast Club 2 or whatever. You know, who knows? Whatever, do whatever. I don't care.
He was, he's stretched a few things.
I'll give him credit though, because I'm saying like, yeah, he's a bit narcissistic and a bit, self-centered, but he addresses it in the movie. Like, especially when he talks to his wife on speakerphone, his wife definitely like, you can tell his wife is like, brings him back to reality here and there occasionally.
Well, the wives can always do that because they've seen you.
They know
compromising
they know the
positions. Yeah, they know that. But I think ultimately at the end, they kept trying to kind of revitalize the Brat Pack thing. Like I don't know if you guys remember, but in the 90s and early 2000s, they had the same 3 or 4 actors that were in all of the stuff. It was Vince Vaughn and Joaquin Phoenix and I think a couple other people. They're all like hovering around in the same movie.
Well, it's a generational thing, isn't it? You get a certain group of actors of a similar age who all go up to sit for similar parts, so they all get to know each other because they see each other at the call-ins when they're not that famous, but they've crossed paths before. Gradually, they get parts or supporting parts on each other's films. These people get to know each other professionally. They become a cohort of that particular era.
Exactly.
And there'll be another one and another one,
Yeah, and not forgetting we actually had the Lock Stock Boys being called the Brit Pack. So
we did.
I remember that.
The Brit Pack? I don't know about this. Who was that?
Yeah. That
was after they did Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels, then they did all the other ones.
Okay. All those guys.
Yeah, Dexter Fletcher, Jason Statham.
The Guy Ritchie crew. Okay, I get
the Guy
you.
Ritchie, basically, for
Jason Flemyng.
The Brit Pack. That's hilarious. I've never heard that.
Nick Moran.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is Jason Flemyng in the Brit Pack? I'm glad he is. Good.
Yeah.
Well, I could call him right now and ask him.
Is he Brit Pack or is he Brit Pack adjacent?
Okay, do you know what? That's a fun message. I'm going to leave that for him.
Yay! We're sort of famous now. Yay!
I just know that Jason Flemyng, he's with a guy that comes up more than most people on these
somebody
shows.
In the chat from Page to Screen said they had the Frat Pack with Seth Rogen, etc. I think that's probably true. Bill Hader, Seth Rogen.
Yeah.
They were in they were in all of those.
Seth Rogen became a complete tit.
Right. But if you look at Superbad and Knocked Up and
why? Okay, I'm not going to ask why Seth Rogen is complete. I think he's all right. So, okay, I'm just sending him a text now. He may be asleep. Are you Brit Pack or Brit Pack adjacent?
Love it.
So, okay, cool. We'll see. Or Brit Pack adjacent. Ha ha. Anyway, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Spader does seem to have survived it pretty well, Sean Innes. I do agree. I'm not so sure Cusack has as well.
Well, John Cusack hasn't survived it. Nothing to do with being Brit Pack adjacent or whatever. He did some fantastic roles, including Grosse Point Blank, etc., etc. The reason that his career has not survived is because he's a total and utter wanker.
Wankers.
Absolutely.
Fucking wankers.
I warned you about that. You're in the naughty step, right? He's removed. So no bad British accents allowed. It's on the scrolling titles.
Really?
So,
we don't read that.
If you watch that, he didn't read the rules, so now I've had to put him.
I just did a British accent myself.
I said it says bad British accent, so that's Toxic all over. If Toxic tries to do a British accent, he's out. So,
wow. Oh my god,
John Cusack is known for bad behaviour on set, being extremely rude to crew, being extremely rude to fellow cast members.
Yeah,
I will say this on my stream because I don't like bad mouthing people. I will say this on my stream because I've heard it firsthand from over a dozen people, crew members, cast members, people that have done scenes with him. This is why, if you look at his record of recent times, you'll see he's done a load of foreign co-productions, like that thing he did that was set in Japan or China or wherever, that's never seen the light of day on mainstream releasing. Toxic, you're allowed back in now. So,
thank you. I'll be good.
Yeah, but that's why he doesn't work much, because people don't like working with him. And if that's your reputation, he's not that bankable now either. He's not a big name anymore. So, you ask an under 30-year-old who John Cusack is, most of them will never have heard of him.
I know, because he kind of almost dominated the 90s and 2000s for a while. He could play he could play a very likable everyman, and the fact that he's the complete opposite in real life just goes to show what a good actor he is.
He is a good
look at Rob Lowe.
He doesn't age.
He's great. He's like I love the Brat Pack name. He's like, it's great. I'm a millionaire. I
want to hang out with Rob. I feel like Rob Lowe would just be a great guy to hang out with. I think he'd just be like super positive.
Well, I got to see him in A Few Good Men on stage, and he played the Tom Cruise role.
Nice.
In A Few Good Men on stage in London. He was great. It was fantastic. And,
I was in off Broadway at my high school play for A Few Good Men. So,
well, I had a friend in it who was playing the Jack Nicholson role. I mean, you know, not shoes you want to step into.
I suppose the real question is, could he handle the truth?
He couldn't. He couldn't handle it,
dude. I gotta say, my favorite Rob Lowe is his heel turn in Tommy Boy. As this like loathsome asshole. He's amazing in that movie. Hey, Chucko. That doesn't smell like mud. Like, oh, he's so good in that one as a jerk.
Rob Lowe has a really good take on this. When he speaks to McCarthy, he basically says, we were at the time when cinema was changing, when films were being made for young people. We were so fortunate to be in that time and be offered those roles. Yeah. Even though McCarthy might not have had the go on to do Scorsese career and things like that, he's in like 4 or 5 of the most iconic films of American cultural youth of all time.
Yeah.
And how many actors get to turn around and say that? So if he watches this stream, and he's got the link for it because I've just sent it to him on Instagram, man, you know, just like stand back and take that in, because most actors like dream of getting that label, even for one movie.
Just for one movie, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like got it for like Pretty in Pink, Class, St. Elmo's Fire, which I actually think is a really poor film. I watched it recently, and it's you know,
it doesn't hold up.
Death by Suicide of Opening Window. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't hold up. No, but I get why it hit a certain zeitgeist, and the song is really fucking good. But but I like Rob Lowe's take on the whole thing, and I guess McCarthy kind of overthought everything, and you know, maybe he blames it on certain things, but man, I just want to give the guy a hug.
I think it was more just because Andrew McCarthy's kind of a one-trick pony in the way, like he kind of just plays himself in films. You know,
True.
I mean, maybe Less Than Zero was a little bit edgier than some of the other stuff, but
the cringier parts of the documentary are like just like a camera following Andrew McCarthy around, and you know, him just being awkward. And there's a lot of parts where he says stuff like, oh, well, you know, these guys were like the LA, like model cool guys. And I was like the New York, like actor, you know?
Oh boy.
It's like, dude, come on.
I was all serious kind of thing.
Yeah. I took acting serious because I'm from New York, and these guys did it because they're from
really?
LA.
Is
they're
that
better
how
looking.
Doing Mannequin?
I'm literally like almost quoting him verbatim. But it's one of those things where he says it, and I know that he's going to watch the documentary, and he realizes like, it's good that he made this documentary. I mean, tone it down a little, but I still liked it, and I still like Andrew McCarthy. No, you know, nothing but no hard feelings against the guy. I love Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. He's funny. He's great.
Yeah. I
never saw the second one. Is he in the second one as well?
Yeah, the second one is where they make Bernie's body like dance to like voodoo.
Yeah. He did.
Damn, they must have offered him some serious money.
They put a Jamaican hex. They put a Jamaican voodoo hex on Bernie's corpse.
We find out that he's
so whenever music plays, his body like comes to life and starts dancing. Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Part 2 is awesome.
Well, that's interesting. So, guys, we've got From Page to Screen is here. Stuart, who joined us for the He joined us to defend the Acolyte the other day.
I did.
Oh, cool.
I'm an Acolyte apologist.
Oh God.
Cool.
Yeah, he's an Acolyte. He's an Acolyte apologist. Don't worry, you're among friends here, but because we're not going to be talking about that tonight. So that's tomorrow.
Well, I can already tell he's better spoken than Leroy, just from 3 words.
Yes, there is no fake British accent here. It's a genuine Scottish English one.
Wow,
so that's toxic that does the fake British accent. Yes. Have you seen this documentary, Stuart? I've lost him. He's dropped out. His
He'll come
device
back.
has become unconnected.
He'll pop back.
Ask him a question. He disappears.
It's that famous potato
he had
European internet from
he
Potato
had a
Land.
real accent. He didn't need to be booted. He was being genuine.
I'm back now. So I was making sure my camera's working. Yes, I have seen the documentary. I enjoyed it. I agree with you, Lance. There should be a sequel.
Yeah,
it felt too short. It felt quite rushed. Like they were like, we need to get this thing finished.
It kind of felt like they purposely ended it on a cliffhanger, you know, like Judd, hey, what's up? And it just ends. Credits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, Judd Nelson has had his issues with, narcotics and what have you, and he's had some really tough times in his life. But I would really like to see him. I'd like to see him just come on and
I like Judd Nelson. Judd Nelson and Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back when he's the sheriff.
Very funny.
Yeah. He's my favorite of the Brat Pack, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, you would be like the Judd Nelson. You're the dude.
Yeah.
You would be the Judd Nelson of the Breakfast Club group for sure, Wes. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
Well, my best pal at college. He was the Judd Nelson, literally, where that was concerned. So, Jamie Ollett, for those people who knew him, Isha College, 1987. So let's, we recommend it. What would you give it out of 10? People that have seen it, what would you give it out of 10?
7, 6.5, 7.
Same.
I wanted more.
Yeah, I'll give it 7. It's good, but it feels incomplete. It feels like there should be a part 2.
I enjoy a short runtime, so I know it left us hanging for more, but I'm glad it wasn't 6 hours long at the same time.
No, I would have loved the 6-hour version of that.
Now, who thinks that John Cryer should be cast as Ming the Merciless in a Flash Gordon remake?
Yikes!
I can see it.
Or John.
Why not?
John.
Yeah, he'd be good.
I'm thinking he's more likely to be cast as the American missing brother in EastEnders. He's one of the Mitchell brothers.
Yeah,
that could work as well. Yeah.
Did he wear a hairpiece during 2.5 Men? Is that
No,
the later years? I think.
He was kind of balding as season went by.
Charlie he just started shaving his head to look tough.
Yeah.
What was that movie him and Demi Moore did where he advertised her on like sides of trucks and stuff, and they thought it was a 900 number or something like that?
I don't know.
It is called
It's one
No
of those,
Small Affair.
There you go. I like that. That's a good movie.
All right. Well, let's. We're going to move on. I'll give it 7 out of 10 as well. It's worth seeing. There aren't any cheerleaders in it, but we can always come back to them. But So Enzo, you said you had watched a film that the Inside Man had recommended you that you now want to.
It was a show. It was a 1-season sitcom from 2005 from the guys who did Jam, and the other guy who did Mighty Boosh and stuff. And it's called
Black Mirror. Charlie Brooker also
that's
Black Mirror. Yeah,
Nathan Barley is it?
Nathan Barley's the show. Holy Lord! It was like peering into the future from the past.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where in 2005, I'm sure it's like Idiocracy. Like it seems very funny and outlandish. And you're like, dude, this is like current day. This is exactly how people are now.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just a weird show about these deadbeats who trying to get into the internet. It reminded me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but like with like tech bros, with IT Crowd. That's kind of what it reminded me of. Those two shows together.
Yeah, and of course it's got Richard Ayoade in it as well, who plays Ned Smanks, who works for the Sugar 8 magazine.
I mean, I
Very
think
young Benedict Cumberbatch as well.
Towards the last episode, I didn't mind the name of the show, but I was thinking it should have been just called Trash Bat because that's the name of the website. And Nathan Barley doesn't, he's not the main character. It's really, what's his name from Mighty Boosh.
Dan Ashcroft.
But then again, this is something that I noticed that this was cool around the early 2000s. That's kind of cringe now. Is this like the main character is just like understands that everyone else is stupid, like he's he's above it all. Like it's like very teenage, adolescent way of looking at the world,
But it's like that art exhibition that he goes to with the piss photos.
Dude, yes, it's hilarious. The show is hilarious, and you watch the whole thing in like 3 hours. So.
The guy's called 15 Peter 20.
Yeah.
What a fucking.
The
knob.
website is trashbat.cock.
Cock.
.co.uk, right? Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's .co.ck because it's registered in the Cook Islands.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good. It was very funny and weird, and it was a great combo. It was a great mix between Blue Jam and that Mighty Boosh style. Black Mirror, like the tech stuff.
Yeah,
like Charlie Broker. Yeah, you can see into the future. That guy, he's weird.
Yeah. It's a good show. It's kind of still got quite a following. I mean, I went to a Mighty Boosh live show a few years back, and as soon as Julian, what's his name? Julian.
Yeah, I don't know.
Barrett. Julian Barrett. As soon as Julian Barrett came on stage, the whole crowd was just chanting "Preacher Man, Preacher Man."
Yeah,
I got a bunch of
I got a bunch of friends here in America who are obsessed with Mighty Boosh and this stuff shows like they love them.
Yeah, third season was a bit odd, but my favorite episode was The Legend of Milky Joe from season 2. Fucking
dude, I had an ex-girlfriend who dressed like old Greg at Halloween one year. She killed it, dude.
You should have married her. That was
old Greg. She
material.
was crazy.
Make an assessment.
I got a mangina.
I'm old Greg.
I want some Baileys.
Okay, so Nathan Barley available where for people to watch?
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
On YouTube.
Remastered
on YouTube.
Man, YouTube is killing it with the
free on
stuff.
YouTube. Okay, all right. We're gonna move on. I'm gonna mention a couple of other things I've seen. I am 2 episodes into a documentary. I do like my documentaries, not just ones with cheerleaders in, but others as well. Although they are now definitely at the top of the list. So yeah, I'm watching. I like my true crime stuff. I'm watching a documentary on Hulu called The Perfect Wife. Has anyone else seen it? It is the true story about the disappearance of Sherry Papini, who is a housewife who was kidnapped, tortured, etc. Escaped after 22 days. Whole load of conflicts over whether it really did or didn't happen. I can't tell you how it ends because I'm 2 episodes in out of 3. But it's just another really good.
I know this story.
Don't spoil it, please.
Yeah. I actually know this story very, very well.
Yeah, it's a good documentary. It's really well made. I recommend it if you like your true crime stuff. And I'm one of the things I kept saying I was going to do was I was going to start a true crime drama group on Facebook because that's the kind of stuff that I write, and it's also not the kind of stuff I like to direct, but I like reviewing that kind of stuff as well. So far I give it 7 out of 10. 2 episodes in. I haven't seen the 3rd one yet, but it's pretty good. So that's one of the docs that I watched this week. Inside Man, have you got around to seeing Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders yet?
No, not yet. But I did watch Cruising.
Oh,
Al Pacino.
So
you
got to see a dark drama about fisting in New York gay sex.
Yeah,
Dude, the popper scene is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, that's
what a soundtrack. What a soundtrack.
Dude, the way the color saturates, it gets all saturated when he gets all high on him, dude. It's amazing. It's literally cool.
Yeah, his interview where he was talking about Al Pacino. It's like, I don't give a flying fucking Adona what Al Pacino thinks.
Yeah,
that film is quite. I mean, it's not weird just because of the content, but like the ending is really odd. It just sort of
there's a real ambiguity about the whole.
Was it trying to throw a twist like Al Pacino might be the killer or something?
No, he did kill again. Basically, is what they alluded to. But Al Pacino had no idea about that ending until he saw the movie, and he was very upset.
But here's a little revelation about this movie. If you watch it carefully, after the first killing, the first killer becomes the next victim, and the killer of that victim becomes the next victim, and so on and so on and so on. And it's not the same killer. It's not the same person doing the killing all the way through. It's a completely different killer every time.
It's like a sadistic version of Pass the Parcel, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. But it's a great film. I mean, it's shot
Really
so beautifully, and it's a great cast as well.
Yeah, we did a Bill Friedkin stream on my channel not long after, like a while after he died, and like we realized like he made way more movies than we realized, and also every one of them is good. Not a single one of them is bad. They're all good.
Yeah, I mean, even what would be considered to be a not particularly great movie is still executed perfectly well.
This has got to be the this is going to be the 1980s video cover in some country or other. I've never seen this poster before.
Oh, that one's even worse.
Yeah, that one I remember. That was one of the UK VHS ones. But Eat Oysters, Love Longer. I feel like I need a t-shirt that says that.
Well said, Bill.
There's the screenplay. Look at that. Yeah. So, has anyone seen Panic in Needle Park?
Yep.
Many years ago. Yeah, it is a very bleak, very slow movie, and it's not everyone's gonna like it, but you got to have a lot of patience watching it because it's just about these two people who are just flushing their lives down the toilet, but with every single bloody minute.
Isn't that like just sort of like looking at people in the park near where you live, Northern?
You're joking, but that's not too far from the
Not if Luke can do anything about it.
I've known Henry and Alex as well, and that's it gets it right. That film does get it right.
Now, here's an interesting thing. So this actor, Jay Acavoni, was in Lethal Weapon. I thought I recognised him from somewhere. I was trying to think, where do I know this guy from?
Was he the guy who goes, what was this, Psychos Are Us? Him?
No.
No, he's got a really small part in Lethal Weapon. This is him now. There you go. So he is still around, as Enzo will be pleased to know.
Yay.
Yeah, he's that's him now. So he's still going because most of the background people in Cruising were all actually gay people from New York of that time, and they went to those bars and they filmed in those places. So most of them are no longer around for reasons that you'll probably understand.
No.
Yeah, but so it's people say that it's a really weird film for people in the gay community to watch who were alive at that time because they can spot all these people in the background that they knew back in the day as all the extras in the film.
Jay was in the Lethal Weapon TV series, not the movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just Googled it. So I'm like, who did he play in the movie?
I knew there was a reason we had you on, Stuart. Thank you for drilling into the.
My mom had an autographed picture of Pacino from the Cruising still, and I remember her telling me when she put it. Yeah, she put it up on the. She had met him somewhere at some event he was doing, and she got him to sign it, and she put it up on our mantle. Like ahead of our family pictures. And I remember her telling me, she was like, Wesley, if anything happens, I love this picture more than I love your life. Don't mess with this picture. Yeah. She loved some Al Pacino, man.
If the house is burning, forget the children upstairs.
Get the Al Pacino signed autograph.
I have a signed Scarface poster by Pacino, Logue, Pfeiffer, and Bauer.
Wow, that's going to be worse than Buck.
Pretty cool. So that's one of the things I'm grabbing if the house goes up in flames. It's my little autograph collection.
Adrian Sherlock is in the chat. He was my last industry interview, and my next industry interview is tomorrow. So,
nice.
Adrian and I had a great time talking about Blake Seven and
the Tomorrow People.
Tomorrow People.
Yeah.
Do people remember the theme tune to the Tomorrow People? Americans.
I was just going to say that the thing about all of the shows that the books have been done on, every last one of them have got a really good theme tune. Tomorrow People is fucking weird. It's a really weird one, isn't it?
It is how many of the Americans in the chat know the theme?
No idea what you're all talking about.
Well,
it's also got a great opening title sequence as well.
Let's torture them with it right now.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I reckon we need a new Nielsen ratings intro like that, Enzo,
Dude.
but with the people's faces.
Cool.
Yeah, the timpani with the theremin and the dulcimer and guitar, it was cool.
And that's British TV for children in the 1970s. Yeah, that's why so many kids.
So that's why you're all weird.
That was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Clearly, there was lots of mushrooms and glue sniffing going on.
While you guys had the Whirlybirds and Champion the Wonder Horse, we had the Tomorrow People and Doctor Who. So
So there.
it was all good. All right, cruising. Well, that's enough about cruising. Let's move on. So, I want to talk about Inside Out 2.
Yes.
Let's dive into that. That is that will always be known as the last film that I was ever to see with my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Who I decided to call up to go and see it with me because I was worried about having a panic attack in the cinema, because that's what happens when people talk about things. And that was a big mistake. But anyway, I did enjoy the film. However, I did enjoy the movie. The movie was very good. I was very worried that they were going to go down a route of kind of making the main character gay, fall in love with a girl, all this kind of thing. Now, I actually think if they do an Inside Out 3 and that's her storyline going into her being an adult, I have no problem with that, by the way, whatsoever. I just want to say that. This is a children's film, and I like the fact that they kept it within that realm for children's content. Family film. And I mean, there are gay characters in Inside Out too. Let's be upfront about that. But it's a good film. It's a good sequel. This is one of the films I wanted to see a sequel to this. As soon as I left the cinema for Inside Out, I remember saying, "Oh, I hope they make another one," because I think they should do 6 of these, and they should take it right through to when the main character is a grandparent. And the last show should be, her dealing with dementia and all the characters all going a bit nuts in her head. It would be really heavy, but it'd be a great way to explore that issue, because it's something we're all going to be dealing with. Yeah. I think it'd be a great way of dealing with that issue. You can have like the middle film will be sort of, midlife crisis, all that kind of shit.
Sure,
one in her 20s will be like
I get
fun.
I get you. Yeah.
I think there should be like the next one should be her teens, her first love. The one after that, first proper relationship, big job, responsibilities, going out into the real world. The next one, getting married, having kids. The next one, being divorced and being single again, middle age, blah blah blah. And then the final one, being a grandparent and so on.
Wouldn't the next one, if she's a teenager, just be like 90 minutes of her staring at her phone?
Right.
A bit of a dull film,
really. Is just taking over the entire thing.
Yeah, and then inside her head, all of the characters in the head would also be looking at their phones, and then you go into the heads of their characters, and they'd all also be looking at their phones, and it would be like that.
There'd be no Bing Bong; it would be TikTok.
I have to admit, I did want Bing Bong to. I was hoping when they got lost in the wilderness and they're trying to get back to Riley's head, I was hoping like Bing Bong was going to make a cameo. I really, really was, but there is no Bing Bong in Inside Out.
Wolfie in it, and his pouch that spits out dynamite.
Yeah, Northern, you went to see it. What did you think of it?
It was God Christ. I thought this was going to be really bad. I thought they were going to start throwing the message in left, right, and centre, but no, they really expanded on this idea of having these other emotions and do it in a very realistic way of how it does affect a teenager's life when that person has to adjust to those kind of changes. And it was very clever, and it goes to show that it's okay to have some anxiety, the way the first one highlighted how it was still okay to be sad, and how it can still lead to other opportunities or help you develop as a person.
Yeah, if you go inside Toxic's head, by the way, all of these characters have got combat fatigues on. So
combat fatigue is not for sociopaths. Sociopaths do not get PTSD. No. So
I particularly liked this. Of the new characters, this one was my favorite, because this feels like the teenage child of every parent I know right now. Their kids are so lovely until they suddenly hit about 11 or 12, and then they become this character. But yeah, I feel like I knew this character pretty well.
Yeah, and they could have really made these new emotions the villains, but no, they just want what's best for Riley as well. They want to change now and grow as a person, while the others are still a little bit funny about it.
They were misguided, I think.
They're misguided. Yeah, they both want what's right for her, but they're both going the wrong way about it.
Good to see you, Barbara Lawrence. Welcome back to the chat. And indeed, what feelings had feelings. I remember when I was pitching ideas to somebody and saying, "Oh, this would be a good idea for a film." If you ever went to Disney World in Florida, they had a ride you could go on where you went into the brain of of someone's body. Do you remember? And you met the characters. And I remember when I came out of that would be a good idea for a film if it was all set inside someone's body and you're dealing with the various different characters in the body that run the body, and this is what we got. But we got that in Woody Allen's Everything You Need to Know About Sex, but we're too afraid to ask.
I always thought about Herman's Head. I always thought Herman's Head was how they got this premise.
Yeah.
Is that not something? Did you guys not have that over there? Herman's Head?
No, I remember that, but it wasn't a big hit in the UK. Everyone preferred Giving Head over here and watching Herman's Head.
As they should.
Yeah. Has anybody not seen this? Anyone not seen it?
I have not. I have not seen it.
I barely remember the first one, honestly. I watched it once when it came out, and it's meh. Thought it was all right. Everyone liked it a lot more than I did. I remember.
Was there not enough Mexican food in the first one?
No. I just I don't remember. I just know it's the Encanto problem. It's something where I have to rewatch it to expand upon. But I mean, why I hate the movie Encanto? It's like a micro cosm of what's wrong with like modern storytelling, like that story structure of like, I don't know. The whole arc is that you were misunderstood and everyone understands you now. Like that's everyone believes you. Everyone listened to you now. You were right all along.
I would argue in the case of this movie that's not where
what happens.
It's not where we end up ultimately. But
I just remember thinking this movie was more for, I don't know, little kids. I don't know. It's
I don't have little kids anymore. They're all adults, but I do have a grandchild now, so maybe I'll start catching up on all these.
The thing is, I don't really have like these hardcore neuroses. I don't relate to people who need therapy and have anger issues, and I'm a pretty chilled guy.
Just go online tomorrow after the Acolyte's been on. You'll encounter all of them.
Yeah, you've been on YouTube for quite a while now. I would have thought you would have hung out with loads of people that tick all of those boxes, but indeed.
I mean, he does.
I do. Yeah. And my ex-girlfriend was very,
he lets it wash over his shoulder.
People would tell, people talk about how they got, they take these pills or they go to these therapists or they have to do these kind of self-care days or they're stressing out. I don't relate. I don't get it.
All right, we're getting off topic now into the world of therapy and so forth. That's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
So, Blue, what would you give this out of 10? And anything you want to say about it?
Probably a 9 out of 10. I think it's a better film than the first one, and also I think it's going to be 2024's first $1 billion movie. It's tracking way better than anybody would have thought. I didn't think, like people said, I had low expectations based on the past 5 years of Pixar. I did not look forward to seeing this, and after seeing some reviews, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. This is what Pixar used to be. I would hope that if they get $1 billion film out of this, maybe learn the lesson of stop what you've been doing and follow this formula. I do want to see, like Glenn said, I want to see a part 3.
It's going to hit $1 billion by the 4th of July. Just saying.
It might, honestly.
Northern, what would you give it out of 10?
I give it a 9 out of 10. I would, because it does what it does exactly what made the first one great. It expands on it, and it's doing what Disney should be doing at the moment. Get some good writers in who know what they're doing, and not bloody activists.
Yep.
Good. Okay. Enzo, you've not seen it. Stuart, have you seen it?
I've not seen it, but I'm very happy that Pixar seem to be back in big screens again, rather than going straight to streaming.
And
it's nice to see that. Nice to see it make a fortune. And where are all these people gone who said people don't want to see sequels anymore. Inside Out's making a fortune, and Bad Boys 4's doing quite well as well. So
yeah.
I mean, I think sequels are fine if they're good. I mean, we've had a lot of sequels that were just made so they smash out a sequel, but no one really thought about it. They took a while to do Inside Out. So they thought about it, and clearly that's paid off.
I think when people start complaining about sequels, I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I'm one of those people that complains about sequels. I don't mind if a story just kind of ends abruptly or just finishes. And I like to be the person that fills in the blanks, fills in my own sequel with what happened next. Something that's a little bit more thought-provoking rather than what we're going to do is we're going to give you another movie, which is going to answer every one of the questions that you had at the end of the last movie. So we're actually doing the thinking for you. That's what I think the purpose of a lot of sequels is, to think for the audience, so they don't have to, and also to make a shitload of money on the top of that as well.
I mean, I love original films, so I will always praise an original film, but you've always just got to look at the top 10 box office winners of the year. 90% of them will be sequels, remakes, and reboots, unfortunately.
Yeah, those are the films that I'm just not in the slightest bit interested in. They do nothing for me whatsoever.
No, I understand. Bike Riders 2023. Blue, you're up. So, I hear groaning. Blue, you've got the hottest avatar, so I'm going to move you up. There you go. Okay. By the way, that avatar scores are out of 10. So, really good. Good choice. Bike Riders. I've seen the trailer. I've not seen the film. It's got a good cast. I've worked with Tom Hardy a couple of times.
It's excellent cast.
It kind of looks like a sort of Sons of Anarchy sort of movie in a way. Give us your sort of overview of the.
I will say.
Yeah. And has anyone else seen it? Is it just Blue? Anyone else?
Lord Toxic as well.
Toxic saw it, and Northern, you've seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, I'll come to you guys in a minute. Blue, you go for it.
All three actors do a fantastic job. It's basically a loose version of history based on real events of what happened with this biker gang during the course of 10 years. It's the rise and fall of this gang that Tom Hardy's character creates. That's the basic synopsis.
Is it the rise and fall because ultimately they start as a biker gang, dabbling into a few little things, but ultimately they become a major criminal enterprise, which probably isn't a good idea?
Well, not these characters. The problem is dealing with a younger generation of characters, but essentially that's what it is. And that's the problem they're running to. It's like these guys, when any kind of club, Tom Hardy, he starts off viewing the world in the club one way. When he started getting to because it starts in 1965. When you get into the 70s, and now you have, these guys are 45, 50 years old. Now they're 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds who see the world a lot differently. And as you said, now you have a problem with guns, with drugs, with crime, things that they weren't doing 10 years ago. And that becomes a problem.
That kind of almost sounds like it's Goodfellas, but bikers. Is it Goodfellas with bikers, or is it? What was your overall impression of it? And we'll come on to the.
It's not as good. I know Tox would agree. I liked it. I didn't love it. I think it's decent, not great. I would recommend watching it one time, but it's not a film that I would watch multiple times. It's just doesn't have it. It's in damn sure. I feel like at 2 hours, they could shave a good 15 minutes off it. It does have some pacing issues. I would recommend at least viewing it one time, but I don't see myself watching it again. It's an average film. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's okay.
On a score of 1 to 10 with Tom Hardy, 1 being Bane, Batman, and 10 being I can understand what you're saying. On the mumble factor, where is he?
Oh no, he's fantastic as always. His accent
you can hear him and you can understand his dialogue.
Everything. Yeah, that's it.
He's not doing a Mad Max mumble.
Austin Butler, especially Jodie Comer, she does a Chicago accent, and all three of them, their performances are fine. It's the material they're given. The storyline's kind of weak, but nobody phones it in. Michael Shannon's in it. Norman Reedus is in it. You have good actors, but
you can't have a biker film without Norman Reedus. I think that's actually that's a rule. It's a rule in Hollywood contracts now, isn't it? Of course,
they were smart enough to put in marketing. He's got maybe 6 minutes of airtime, so it's.
Yeah.
The only thing that
okay.
really irritates me about Tom Hardy is whenever he does a UK interview, he kind of lapses into this weird sort of semi-Jafaican kind of speak a bit like this, innit? He starts talking a bit like that.
Yeah,
You
he
think,
doesn't.
what
He
the
doesn't.
fuck?
He doesn't sound like that in real life.
No, he doesn't.
He had a theatre company that had 2 plays, and I directed them both. Although, if you ever read any newspaper interviews about that theatre company, you wouldn't have known I did any work on them at all.
Yeah,
But,
I did a couple of films with him. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, he doesn't. I just don't understand why he kind of lapses into that in an interview. It's just bizarre.
Well, I haven't seen him in anything for a while, so I'm kind of looking forward to seeing it. And feels like it's an age-appropriate role. I'm guessing Butler is. Are they related? Their characters in the movie?
No, it's more. It is a father-son relationship. They're friends.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. But they're kind of a bit of a paternal thing.
Yeah.
Going on. So what would you score it out of 10?
Honestly, 5 out of 10.
5. Okay. Toxic. I now have my Enzo Sandtimer of Doom running. Your quick thoughts on the film and what you would score it out of 10.
I mean, on the one hand, I can't in good conscience recommend it for you, Lance, but if you have a way to watch it, and I would definitely like your feedback. I feel like there's like bunches of edited footage on the cutting room floor. The pacing problem is an issue. Blue and I went over this in our review, and I feel like they'd have done better if they'd have, gone away from the book a little bit and maybe made it a little bit more Hollywood. I like it for what it is. I would never watch it again. And Jodie Comer, I've been in love with.
I take it Cher hasn't got a cameo in it.
Not that I noticed.
No, it's just Cher's at an event. God, Austin Butler, why do you just have to be so good looking?
Is
he though?
Well,
yes.
Like Lance, 90% of the audience in the theater when I went was little teenage girls that were there basically just to swoon over him.
We were watching Double
Man,
Impact.
I'm
I thought John
surprised
Van Damme was better looking.
I'm surprised they let you in the cinema, Toxic, but all good.
I hid.
So, Northern, you said you saw it as well?
Yeah, I did. It's got a great cast. It's got men being fucking men instead of being turning into twinks, and it's very dull. It's very dull.
It's dull. Why is it dull? What was dull about it for you?
I don't know. It just didn't feel very exciting, and it was very anticlimactic as well at the end. I mean, there should have been a little bit more hardcore, a little bit more violent. Really go full on Sons of Anarchy. Not have it like maybe fictionalize the fuck out of it. Like the Untouchables did, where it took something that was real but very dull and really embellished it and made it exciting.
Hmm.
But the
cool.
cast is very good. The cast is really good on it, and they are very likable. Tom Hardy's great in it. Your friend Damon Harriman's on it as well.
Oh God, yeah, because I interviewed him recently.
He's in it.
How was he? How was he in it? How was he?
He's very good in it. He's very good.
He's great in everything.
Really good.
Yeah.
Jodie Comer is really good in it, but
he is good.
I don't know. A lot of things could have, like Toxic said, there was probably a lot that was on the cutting room floor, and maybe some of that being added on could have maybe embellished it and made it a bit more exciting. But the ending will really piss you off as well. You're like, wait, what? Wait, what? Are they just fucking giving up? No, do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's average. It's mostly average.
So it was a little bit frustrating in the sense that it felt like there was something really good here, but ultimately
not frustrating. It was more like, okay, I watched it now, and that's
you wanted a 3-course meal, but you got 2 courses. Is that
no? I got instead of a nice freshly cooked chicken, I got paste. I got paste. Chicken paste.
Okay, I'm loving this food analogy. Excellent. Now, I haven't got round to watching this one, but my panel has recommended it. Before we get onto the must topic of let's compare Superman costumes. So, with written and directed by John Krasinski about sort of imaginary friends coming to life, etc., etc., etc. This is for anyone who is curious to know what Inside Man looks like, he actually played the role of the purple thing, no costume required.
Yeah,
So there he is.
That's it.
Handsome,
There you go.
very as I suspected.
He literally is that cuddly. But yeah, the Year of the Blue Dragon. I like that. Okay, because there was a film called Year of the Dragon. Actually, that'd be a good retro review to do. So, somebody obviously had a huge banana as an imaginary friend. Toxic. Were you involved in this script? I wasn't.
I cannot. I've signed a non-disclosure. I can't divulge that.
So, Northern, I know you've seen this. You've seen this.
I've not seen this one yet.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
Okay, Stuart. Great. Well, our new guest, you've let us know. What do you give us an overview of the plot and tell us what you think of it.
Overview of the plot is girl there who plays Judith at The Walking Dead, Kaylee Flemyng. She moves into an apartment building. She finds that Ryan Reynolds is in the flat upstairs, knocks on the door. He's also living with a bunch of these ifs, which are imaginary friends that no longer have adults or no longer have children to be an imaginary friend for, because when you grow older, you forget your imaginary friend.
Does Bing Bong make a cameo?
No, unfortunately.
That's such a missed opportunity.
For those that really want original films, you will see them on the internet. Nothing's original anymore. This is like an original film. It didn't make as much money as it should have, and it's a crime that it didn't. It's such a sweet, funny, sad. It'll just mess with all your emotions. Best use of a Tina Turner song since Mad Max Thunderdome.
Oh well, I like the sound of that. Anyone else seen it?
Yeah, so I put a video on it.
Right, Blue. I knew one of my regulars had seen it.
It's got John Krasinski even made a joke about he used every favorite in Hollywood because this is the biggest cast I've seen in like a decade.
Right,
voice actors in this film. Holy crap, man!
So, what did you think of it?
Oh yeah, it's a decent film. I mean, it's dark. The first 2 minutes, the daughter there, her mother dies, and in 2 minutes, yeah, I mean that's the opening. It's the opening 2 minutes of the movie. Like,
kick him off, Lance. Kick him off.
Ruined it.
Yeah, and it's
yeah, for now. Don't do a bad British accent. All right, so that happens immediately. So I'm going to let you off. All right.
Yeah. And John Krasinski plays her father, and she meets Ryan Reynolds because for some reason she can see imaginary characters, and he's the only adult that can see them too. So it's like, what's special about her? Because apparently other kids can't see them, and so Ryan Reynolds, why can he see him as an adult? And you get on this journey for the two of them of like, they have to find themselves in a sense, and they have this really good friendship, and basically once kids grow out of a certain age, almost like Monsters Incorporated from Pixar, they stop needing imaginary friends. So Ryan Reynolds is trying to pair these imaginary friends with kids, with newer kids, and that's the funny comical part.
Okay.
Yeah, I must admit, it did actually sound exactly like Monsters Inc. When I saw the trailer, I thought
there's a lot of similarities to it.
Yeah, the first thing I thought was, that's Monsters Inc., isn't it?
Stuart has to leave.
Yeah, now Stuart's got to do a runner. So Stuart, I would invite you to join us on the Acolyte stream on Wednesday, but because we are doing anything more important than that, I have an industry interview to do on Wednesday at 9:00 UK time.
Yeah,
with Jose Zuniga, who's a character actor that's been around for a long time. 146 credits to his name. Started in the film Alive. Recently seen in Snowfall, Sound of Freedom. He's also done guest roles on The Shield. Big role on The Expanse. Loads of things like that. So, unfortunately, our Acolyte stream, if it happens at all, probably won't be until midnight, and I think you're
That's a little bit late.
You're a relatively normal Englishman, so you'll be in bed by that time.
I will be. I'll be having nice Acolyte dreams after what I'm sure will be an amazing, wonderful, perfect episode 5. Can hope, can't I?
So, Stuart's take on the Acolyte is it's mildly entertaining. I'm okay with it. Which I think
it's fine. It's entertaining.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. I'm saying nothing else. So I welcome differing opinions on this channel. So just don't listen in after you've gone. Okay.
Okay.
All
no,
right.
I'll put the headset down. I'm done.
No, listen, mate. Thanks for popping on. We've kind of had an unexpected larger panel than normal. And I did actually say no to a couple of people the other day, but but thanks for popping on. And
thanks for the invite. Good luck with your interview tomorrow, and it's lovely to chat with the rest of you guys as well. So enjoy the rest of your week, year, months.
You too, man.
We'll see you again. We'll see you again for sure.
You will
All right,
indeed.
take care. Bye.
Yeah, take care, mate.
All right, that's the lovely Stuart Bannerman. So where were we? We were talking about if was it if
Yep,
it
I
no,
have.
if score out of 10. I think I should have asked Stuart his score out of 10. I'm sure he probably would have given it a 9, 8, or a 9 from what he said. What would you give it? And Blue, you're muted.
Probably a 6 out of 10. It's cute. It could be a lot better. It's not. It's again. It's okay. It's not something I'd watch. I'd watch Monsters Inc. over this again.
I would actually recommend that everybody track down the proper If that with Malcolm McDowell, directed by Lindsey Anderson. If you really want to see a really good film where the word if actually does mean something for the movie, then track that one down. It's bloody brilliant.
Well, what about the real good imaginary friend movie, Drop Dead Fred? That's a good one.
That's the one with Rick Mayall.
Rick Mayall, yeah.
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he was so good, man.
Yeah, Lord Flashheart and Blackadder. God, he was so funny in that role.
Yeah.
Nursey, am I pleased to see you, or did I put a canoe in my pocket? Yeah. I said the same thing to Toxic every time he came into my prison cell. Let that one sit with people for a bit. Let that ferment. Anyone else seen If? Want to rate it out of 10? Anyone else seen it apart from Blue? No? Okay, I like the little mouse. All right, well, I'm going to try and watch it before next week, so I'll chuck in my thoughts then. Okay, so we're going to talk about The Boys, season 4.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just start by saying, first of all, I'm a massive fan of the graphic novel. I have the whole thing, story from start to finish. I read it all before I saw the TV show. I was really pleased to hear that they were doing the TV show. But I have to say that I've always felt that the weakest link, as much as I love him as an actor, and I think he's amazing as an actor, and I do want to work with him, and this may fuck me on that, I think Carl Urban is the weakest link in this show.
Whoa.
Because, I know, big words, I'm sorry. But for me, his accent is not good. Not a good British accent. Not a good British accent. Beware of the Jabberwock, my son. Okay, is that the title of the next episode? Yeah, it's his British accent is way too on the nose. It's a bit of Cockney some of the time, and then not entirely the rest of the time.
Was it slightly Dick Van Dyke?
It's not. No, it's not.
Mary Poppins.
Well, he does go a bit like that occasionally. He overemphasizes the Cockney, like, way more than a Cockney person would. I just feel like whichever accent coach he had probably wasn't the right one. Listen, I need to say, I love Carl Urban as an actor. I'm also told he's a very pleasant man to work with. I would love to work with him, but I have always found that that didn't stop me from enjoying seasons 1 and 2. Season 3 was okay, but season 3 had the Herogasm scene in it, and in the television show, Herogasm was basically a superheroes swingers party in a house, hosted by a couple of superheroes. In the graphic novel The Boys, Herogasm happens every year, and it's the superheroes equivalent of the Oscars. It takes place in a remote, like Tracy Island in the middle of the Atlantic that no one knows about, and hookers are brought out there by the cruise boat load, and they have to snort chopped up compound V, the stuff that's injected into these people's veins so they become superheroes, so that they can take the sexual athleticism required to be a hooker to make some money at HeroGasm. They all get paid like something like $100,000 each for attending for the weekend. And then so the whole thing is like this super exclusive party, and all of the superheroes and villains, what they do is they create a fictional threat, in this case an alien satellite approaching Earth, and they do this very public announcement where they all team up together. Homelander does a big speech saying we're putting our differences aside, we're going to fly off and we're going to destroy the satellite Zedon 9 from Mars, and you're not going to see us for a week. And that's because they're actually all doing sex and drugs for a week on an island in the Atlantic. This is brilliant. And the Vice President of America visits as well. And I was like, this is great. I can't wait to watch this scene. And it was a swingers party in a house. And it was like, oh, fuck's sake. You've got green screen. You can do anything. You could have, because there's like best superhero every year. And one of the superheroes is drunk and saying, oh, aren't you going to wait to see who best superhero is? No, because Homelander wins it every year. It's rigged. You know, they could have done so much with that, and they didn't. And I was very disappointed. I just thought it's a writer's dream. You know, jump in.
I want to say. I think I don't know if it was because you were drunk or if I'm having deja vu, but I think you talked about this last week, didn't you?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right.
Yeah, but I've only seen one episode of.
So now you're caught up. I get it. Okay, I'm just making sure that I'm not having like psychic premonitions about something that didn't happen.
Asia, what are you talking about?
I didn't see the bro.
He's never said this before. What are you talking about?
I'm like, how you don't forget a word like HeroGasm, and I'm like, hey, this all sounds familiar. Okay, all right, good. I'm just checking.
I don't feel I did my monologue as much justice last week, so I thought I needed a second take.
I got you. No, okay, I'm just checking.
Enzo does smoke a lot of weed, so.
Right. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm being precognitive or I just forgot.
Let's have those lotto numbers. Let's get those lotto numbers, Enzo. I need some help out here, buddy.
Yeah, dude. When you mix the indica and the sativa strains, man, your third eye opens and you can see.
I had to take Gary out. He's laughing too much.
God bless Gary.
I thought you kicked me. I thought you kicked me. I was like, you would obviously kick me.
He's still laughing. No, he's still going. Right, I had to take him out again.
Lance, can I ask? So I read the graphic novels and I'm up to date. I've seen every episode so far.
Still going.
Sorry. Jeez Louise. Did Billy Butcher not come across as kind of Cockney and please, at the risk of being booted, but did he not come across that way in the comic, don't you think? Or no?
No.
Jeez. He's still going.
Yeah, sorry, I had to take him out again. He does, but look, I mean, and he is this sort of like very threatening man, but
yeah,
he has a presence in the comic and a physical presence.
Okay.
But his dialogue is a little bit less on the nose in the graphic novel. He has a lot of it is facial expressions and the way he's drawn, and I was really interested to see who they were going to cast in that part. And what they did was they got Carl Urban to play that role, and they put a big beard on him, which covers up all of his face. And Carl Urban looks very baby face without his beard. That's why they put a beard on him.
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
I don't know who else would have been better for that role.
Craig Fairbrass would have been, because
that was my immediate. Do you know
looks
what?
like him in the comics, though. He does.
Me and Craig had a conversation about that, and I said to him, "Why have you not been seen for The Boys?" And he said, "No one got in touch with me about it."
Yeah, can you look at the comic?
He's all right now. Okay, good.
Okay.
So, yeah, Craig Fairbrass should have played this part. Absolutely, 100%.
I got to say, I don't agree with you or anyone else with this. I think that Carl Urban is him and Anthony Starr having the role of a lifetime here. I really think they were made to play these roles. Anytime I watch a clip, especially the season 1 clip where they're in the sharing circle and he kind of Billy Butcher gets pushed into it and he screams at all the victims saying, where's your rage? I'm not going to do the accent, obviously, but and he screams at him and he's in so much pain. It gives me chills. Like, I really think he's playing the hell out of this part.
It gives him chills.
It does.
Taking him out again. He's
that was me laughing. I was laughing. I was snickering.
Sorry, inside man.
That was Stupenzo taking the piss out of us.
It gives me chills.
Oh, shut up. But and you don't think Anthony Starr is really killing it with this?
He is. He's really good. He's really good. I think that the season 4 has some issues though. It's lost its way a bit.
The first 3 episodes went a little too onto the gross out thing. I think they're kind of pulled it out. I think they kind of pulled it out of a nosedive.
And they're totally ignoring the graphic novel now. They're just completely doing their own thing.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the graphic novel.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, that is the property upon which it is based, and I would prefer it to be as
Mr. Consider the source.
Yeah, I would prefer it to be as close to it as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the book. I think I've read a few, 1 or 2 issues of The Boys back in the day, and didn't really finish it. And I haven't watched any of the show, so I'm indifferent. You guys, fight it out. I don't care. You guys, I pick no sides.
No, it's totally a legit opinion.
Okay, no, it's fine. I listen, man. If you like it and he's working for you, as played, that's fine. I'm just going to demonstrate something here. So this is Billy Butcher as drawn in the comics, right? Mm-hmm. There you go. Okay. This is Craig Fairbrass, who I actually said, Craig, you've got to play this part. That's Craig Fairbrass.
He might be too old, but yeah, he looks great.
Well, when The Boys was first made, he definitely wasn't too old. And this is Carl Urban.
Yeah.
Now, Craig Fairbrass, and Craig Fairbrass, by the way, is built like a fucking brick shithouse.
Go back to the drawing.
6'4".
Yeah, you could have picked Ooh, you know who I'm seeing right here? Too big of a name, probably, but Michael Shannon. I love him. He's great.
Really?
Shannon is a bit too he's got one step in the sort of computer nerd spectrum. I think but he could, maybe.
He plays a great psychopath in Prison.
Oh, he was a great General Zod and stuff.
But the thing with Billy Butcher in the graphic novel is he's physically huge, like buff huge, as well as being
Michael Shannon is like 6'4", dude.
He's
a big guy.
He's quite gangly though, isn't he? He's quite.
He could bulk up. You'd be surprised.
He could.
But of course, like I said, he's too high profile. I mean, he's also above it all. He's an actual actor.
Well, Lance is definitely on to something when he says that season 4, the first 3 episodes, even I put out a tweet. I was like, the show's really going off the rails, and I've been a big defender of it. But I feel that episode 4 of season 4 has kind of realigned. I think it did a great job. And if Anthony Starr is not at least somewhat recognized for an Emmy for that, I don't know what to do. I mean, it probably won't because it's a gross out kind of show sometimes, but Anthony Starr, he's just incredible.
I'm just seeing a lot of jokes and memes about oh, you guys didn't realize I was making fun of you all along.
Yeah,
that's calm down.
That's really getting old.
The show's great because it suckered right wingers into thinking that they realized they're making fun of them. It's like, if your best part of the show is if the best thing you like about it was it tricked.
I guarantee you nobody said that.
Nobody says that. No.
They've never even watched the show.
No, exactly. Nobody cares about that kind of stuff. It's like those are the headlines that you see. It's like, oh, please.
I will say that I have a conspiracy theory, Lance. I think that the guy that plays MM, I think he lost weight and shaved his beard to take attention away from the girl that plays Starlight doing that horrible surgery. Her face each episode gets a little worse, where I'm like, oh man, they're having a hard time hiding
her
now.
Superpowers draining her life force slowly.
You know what? You say you joke around, that might be a thing. They might.
Well, that's a good segue into the next topic of superpowers being drained slowly. Gooch is in the house.
I'll drain you.
The new Clark Kent. What are we?
His haircut is bussin', boys. He is on God, no fleek, gonna save Lois Lane.
Big time.
Someone made a really interesting comment on that, saying he looks like one of the fucking teenagers that hogs all the gym equipment.
I think Vex or somebody said, or I don't know, maybe it was someone else. Someone was said this could be a laugh Like maybe they're putting this fake wig on to fool paparazzi filming behind the scenes footage. That's like
possible.
your best bet. That's the best case scenario because this. Someone said it looks like someone like this is what happens when the cool hipster kids like, all right, what does a nerd look like? You know, let's just. It's like it's a what's that show? Big Bang Theory. Like they cool people's idea of a nerd. I don't know. The hairstyle's totally wrong.
I mean, I'm not convinced by the big bird's nest on his head, for starters. It's not looking good now.
So when Edith Van Sciver said he looked like a Jonas brother.
But fortunately, the costume department said, now look, we think what we should do for the new Superman costume is we should definitely go retro underpants, and this is what we have. So
the problem, we talked about this on Leon's show. Big problem with the suit. I think the cape's too long. I saw how long the cape is. It goes almost to the floor. It needs to like lose about a foot. Also, the collar is weird, and the symbol a little too small. It looks like it's pasted onto the weird motorcycle jacket-like material. It's like thick rubber, and also the unnecessary lines. Everyone hates the unnecessary lines. Why the unnecessary architecture lines throughout the suits of all the superheroes? It's not good.
Yeah,
it could be good. It could be great. It's like 80% there. You know what I mean? The colors are spot on.
I mean, I think the actor looks the part.
Of course.
You know, they went through headshots and went, okay, who looks a bit like Henry Cavill? Let's make the transition easy for people. But yeah, I mean, I'm wondering where that other guy's hand is because he does look like he's in pain there. What's going on?
What I can say is, it comes to these photos now. I never prejudge stuff because Henry Cavill. I never forget the first time they seen test footage of him as The Witcher. My God, the hatred for that. Then the show comes out. Oh my God, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
The Supergirl for the Flash movie, the test footage looked goddamn horrible. But then at least the Flash, the movie, Supergirl, her outfit in the film looked really good. So you often see like there's really crappy pictures, but the final product.
Right.
I'm sure you and
Daniel Craig for 007 when they had him in the life vest.
Well,
and they
Hugh
made him
Jackman, the first time, remember back in the 90s when he showed the X-Men, the black costumes, he showed Hugh Jackman. The internet was like, people were tearing them apart
as well.
I mean, I'll be honest, I just don't care because I just don't really want to go and watch another superhero film ever if possible.
Like I said, it's like you could do 3 or 4 small changes and it'd be 100% there. And it's like the fact that it's these little changes, it makes it even more because you're it's so close. It's so close to being spot on. But that hair, that Clark Kent thing was that's breaking news from a few hours ago. And that is suddenly now I am now less excited because like when I saw the suit on Monday, I was like, this looks good. I mean, it looks okay. It's not perfect, but I mean, it's closer. It's almost there. I mean, I get it, but after seeing Clark Kent today, I'm like, I don't know anymore. Now I'm feeling less faithful.
I could see them thinking the logic would be like if he had a little Gen Y, Gen Z weirdo bird's nest haircut, that would be more of a disguise for him. That would be more believable when he's the Clark Kent version. I could see them that being their logic, I guess. But
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
That's what Adam Gray said. There's a lot of stuff they do in post production. That's why I was like, these stupid these leaked photos now are getting dumb. I don't care about them because.
Well, that's what they say. Like they were talking about on Leon's show. Like, oh well, they might touch it up digitally, computer effects wise afterwards. And it's like, well, that's why these movies are $300 million. How about just make a suit that fits? And then, how
about do it right the first time and then fix other
in
stuff?
Camera. Do it right in camera, and you don't have to do over, like erase the mustache like in the Justice League movie.
Then they couldn't launder money, could they, Enzo?
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Controversial opinions. Who is looking forward to seeing the new Superman film?
I have to. I'm obligated to see it.
Yeah,
I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
I don't like James Gunn, but who knows? It might be good. I doubt it, but I hope it is.
Okay, well, we're going to go back to a far more important and I think intellectual topic. Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Okay, so our team, first group leaders. Okay, so if you have to take one of these ladies on a dinner date, gentlemen, who's it going to be? A, Kelsey, B, Mackenzie, C, Claire, or D, Shandy?
I'm going to have to go with Claire.
So we got one vote for
doing the pep in the step, the side profile, and I don't know, the little ginger Asian firecracker. I don't know what ethnicity it is, but
and chat, you can take part. In fact, I should create a little vote thing, shouldn't I, Anthony?
Are we supposed to be able to remember the names?
Can I share my screen?
So we have Kelsey,
okay,
Mackenzie, Claire. That's quite a regular name. Everyone else sounds like a car. And Shandy.
Where's the one from the thumbnail? Where's she?
Oh, she's coming. This is just the first part of our game. Pace yourself.
Yeah.
Pace yourself, mate.
What's going on there? Anyway. Okay, so
no.
So Stupenzo's got 1 vote for Claire. Toxic, who are you going for?
Kelsey, for sure. Kelsey.
Okay, 1 vote for Kelsey. All right. Inside Man.
It's going to have to be Shandy, and the reason for Shandy is that whenever I pour my Shandy, I always make sure I've got a good head.
Oh my God, I love it.
Good for you.
Blue collar.
Mackenzie.
We've got a pretty even vote here. That's like 1 vote for every girl, I think, pretty much. Yeah. Okay.
They all got 2 or 3 holes. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and leave.
He said it, not me. I was reading it. I was keeping it.
Look, I have tagged some of the girls in this. They might be watching. Let's keep this.
Why the hell did you do that?
Are you serious?
I am serious.
No.
I wrote to 2 of them.
I meant WHOLE, like whole of my heart.
Yeah,
that's exactly what he meant. That is exactly
Northern. Who gets your vote in this of the group leaders here?
I'll give Claire. I think redheads are a little bit underrated at times.
All right, okay, so Claire wins. She gets 2. All right, okay, we're going to move on to a different section now. Second group leaders. Okay, well, I'm just going to say Amani gets my vote immediately, and I get 2 votes because it's my channel. So you got to beat that. I'm quite tempted with Jada as well. I might put 1 vote on each. I need to spread my love around. There we go.
Jesus.
Damn, man.
The stream has devolved into debauchery.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to talk about movies.
We're talking about this is a show, man. It's
a show. Calm down, Enzo.
It's a TV show. This is
5 months is still on.
This will help you engage with the TV show when you watch it. You'll feel more emotionally connected to the characters when you watch a documentary.
I gotta see if this is on my server that I can watch.
It is. It's on Netflix.
Nice. Okay.
But Barbara Lawrence is quitting watching now.
Oh, sorry, Babs. Sorry.
I've noticed actually our viewing figures have gone up since I've put the ladies on. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine that.
We are going to come back to films and television in just a second. Okay. Anybody else want to vote for a lady here?
Yes, I will. What's the first one's name?
This is Jada.
Jada. Okay.
Jada.
Yeah, definitely Jada. Jada all day.
Yeah. Actually, she gets a fair bit of screen time. Has a lovely personality, has to be said. So
the one next to Jada.
Armani.
Yes.
That's my first choice, has to be said.
Armani doesn't.
Lance doesn't share Blue. All right.
Yeah.
Smiley
old lady.
Disgusted by this sexism, but number 4, please. Okay.
Good for you.
Excellent. Okay, so that's 1 vote for Megan. There we go. Anyone else?
Yeah,
okay, so
we're
gonna move on. These are the veterans, and then obviously Kelly.
Really for me,
guys. I already swore my love to Claire. Why are you doing this to me? Why?
Well, it's so confusing. There's 36 of them. This is Camille.
God, how long do you expect to do this?
Camille.
This is Camille, who's on our. Well, I just wanted to show you who Camille was. So this is Camille, who's on our stream. There,
it's pronounced camel.
Oh, she lives not like 20 minutes from me.
Oh,
Lance.
no. She got a stalker now because of you, Lance.
Lance, she lives 20 minutes from me.
She's going to get kidnapped. We're all going to know who did
Toxic,
it.
I want a signed photograph.
I'm going to make that happen. I'm going to make that happen for you, Lance. I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I want you to kidnap a Dallas cheerleader and smuggle her in for me.
Yep,
my birthday's coming up, so my birthday's coming up. Okay, joking and sexism aside,
I'm so uncomfortable.
Joking
You don't
and
understand.
sexism
Wes is like
aside-
Drax. He doesn't understand you're joking. He's gonna do it. He's gonna bring you. In.
No, I read between the lines.
It's like Throw Mama from the Train, where he's like,
don't
I
have
totally
to-
understand what you're saying. No,
I know what you're
It's going
telling
to
me
be
to do.
jumping from
Lance.
one fucking fort to.
I mean, don't do it. You're like, you got it.
Listen,
Okay,
one
okay,
minute
right.
of-
Quiet for a second. Quiet for a second. Okay, so joking aside, I'll bring it back to I am especially impressed that these individuals can make this team. It's a Herculean effort that they have to go through in order to get on the squad. So I give them full props. So I never appreciated the kind of stuff they had to do until I watched this show, and I take my hats off to them, honestly.
Nice.
So okay, let's wrap up with a couple of other TV shows and films. Has anybody got something they want to shout out?
Share my screen.
Okay.
Which of these young
Here's the story.
individuals would you guys pick? You have to pick one. No, I'm just kidding. I watched Hannah Gadsby's Gender Agenda stand-up special, and I was actually kind of relieved to find out it wasn't her. It was like her hosting a variety hour of a bunch of LGBTQ plus IAA comedians, and I watched the whole thing, and I wrote out a scripted synopsis review, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's not very long, but basically I was taking notes, brief notes, highlights of each comedian. So first of all, literally the first thing about the special, Hannah's voice is wrecked from either smoking, drinking, or some kind of, maybe she's on hormones. I don't know. Her voice is very weird and raspy. She comes out on stage and starts talking shit about Netflix, and specifically Dave Chappelle and his transphobic special. Immediately, she proceeds to say she penned a strongly worded letter to Netflix, graphically describes her shits for 2 whole minutes, and then reveals that Netflix agreed to give her this special for trans awareness out of guilt. And this is only 7.5 minutes into the special. The first comedian, this little fella here, is a Asian female to male trans person who honestly pretty funny. Obviously a lot of maybe mental issues going on, but they know how to make fun of themselves, straight men, women, gays, trans, all equally viciously. It was very funny. The second comedian was this tall lesbian, and I kind of wanted to strangle her. She was annoying. It goes without saying, but this is one of the gayest audiences I had ever seen in a stand-up comedy special. I wouldn't be surprised if the constant laughter and applause was real and compulsory, or if it was exaggerated in post. It's hard to tell, but it's a lot of hooting and hollering from an audience that I felt like wasn't warranted. The third comedian.
Are you saying there could have been a sort of a line of Nazi
laugh track
troopers with machine guns off camera pointing at the
you
audience?
could be not necessarily they're actually there, but it could be hey, I have to laugh at this because I don't want people to think that, I want people to know that I'm an ally. So it's like brown nosing at the corporate meeting where you laugh at all the CEO's jokes, it's the same kind of thing. Compulsory laughter, laughing for all of Stalin's jokes. Anyway, the third comedian, the fat black stoner lesbian, in the back here, she wasn't great, but wasn't bad. I did chuckle a few times. She might have potential. She was really high, and she was joking about how she was really high. So she might have been having stage fright, but she was funny. She talked about alphabet stuff actually less than any other act. She was talking about funny things like Pringles and other things like that. She was she was outside of the box. Her whole shtick wasn't about her her gender and stuff. Like the fourth comedian was a manic, sad lesbian, this one in the Hawaiian shirt. She also felt very nervous on stage, but unlike this one in the back who was kind of reserved and quiet, she was I felt like over-exaggerating. But yeah, she spends the whole act talking about how she transitioned to a weird little guy, quote, unquote, and mostly brags about removing her, quote, sick rack and nipples. That's all she jokes about. It's weird. The fifth comedian is a tittering.
You said that some of it was funny and some of it was good, so I'm getting mixed signals here. Did you,
no. I'm talking about specific comedians.
Are you recommending this as a show to watch, or are you putting a warning label on it, or what are you saying?
I would say no. I would say only look out for this character here. What are their names? I have it here at the back. I would say the fifth comedian, what was it? This lady back here, annoying. Yep. She had a persistent cough. It's a black gay man in a dress with a persistent cough, and he treats the act like a dead Ted Cockpepper with shitty jokes about choking on dicks. The sixth comedian is a female to male Indian I've seen before on a cringe compilation, and they recycle pretty much the whole act I saw verbatim. The seventh and final comedian is the one in the middle right here, who the gender name comes from. That's the one I would order to get up against the wall. Overall terrible, but first, the comedian Jess Tom and the third comedian Asha Ward, they might be worth checking out in the future. I think they have potential. And honestly, yeah, this little one, Jess Tom, I mean, I feel like the special could have been in reverse order and have Jess Tom headline. Easily the strongest act. So overall terrible, but yeah, look out for those two comedians maybe in the future.
That's great stuff. And it's funny you should mention that because I went to a stand-up comedy gig on Sunday where one of the Outcast creative was performing, and I met this lady who was doing a set, but I had to get back to do Band of Brothers. So she kindly sent me the video. Now, I'm not sure of the copyright regarding this material, so I'm not going to play it. But I just watched her set earlier today, and she is funny as fuck. Anyway, we're going to be doing an Outcasts stand-up gig before the end of the year. So I'm going to be, Inside Man's chance to do his funny laughing gag on stage live. But yeah, I'm going to get a minimum of 4 acts together, and it's going to be called The Storytellers. Because I want it to have a different label from stand-up, because good stories are funny, so they don't have to be called stand-up. They can just be called stories, you see. So yeah, anyway, and she's one of the people I've invited to take part. So there's going to be some others. Kenny, one of the Outcasts, going to be involved as well. So there you go.
There you go.
One of her lines was, let me quote it. Hang on. She because she said she has a 12-year-old kid, and one of her lines was, well, what can I say? I played an adult game and I won an adult prize. Oh, I thought that was great. I just was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good way of saying you had sex and got a kid out of it. That's actually quite funny. I like that. So yeah, she was good. She was good. So anyone else got anything they want to mention?
There is one thing, and that is I've actually got to go because I've got a really, really early start tomorrow morning. So so I do apologise that I've got to.
Well, we're about to wrap up. We're at the midnight, so we're about to wrap up. But yeah, no worries. All right, Inside Man, you go because you're on set.
All right then, guys. Yeah, listen, it's a pleasure joining.
Oh! I took him out. I took him out.
Damn.
I was a bit quick. Sorry, you can keep saying goodbye.
Okay. I was just.
You better hurry.
Yeah, great, man. What the fuck? Yeah, it's a pleasure. You know what? I'm just gonna fucking go.
Oh.
I'll see you soon, and I'll let you know when Charlie Band confirms on the date.
Yes, mate. Yeah. Please do. Please do.
Charles Band's coming on the channel, guys. Charles Band from Full Moon Pictures is coming on the channel in July for an interview.
Excellent.
So it's going to be great.
Okay, guys, listen. I'll be catching up with some of your.
Excellent. All right, so he's out of here. So let's
Jesus Christ.
What?
What an asshole.
Sorry, Instagram, go ahead. It's that kind of night.
Yeah. Oh boy. No. So anyway, as I was saying, kicking me out. God damn it. Right. Anyway, I'm off.
Sorry.
I'm definitely off now. So I'll catch up with you sometime soon, all of you guys. And pleasure joining you.
All right. Take
care.
Take care. Bye bye.
This time.
Blue, is there anything else you want to mention that you've seen?
Are you taking me out?
Yeah, I'm taking you out. I'm taking you out for lunch. Bye. Right, okay. Blue, anything else you want to mention?
Well, this morning I watched it for the Pumpkin. I'm not sure what time he's going on, but he's doing Batman 89 tonight. And just, again, Lance, man, people wonder why Jack Nicholson was paid so much money. Once he falls into the acid, that's the epitome of chewing the scenery. Like, how much coke was Jack Nicholson doing for the filming of that movie?
Well, it was the 80s. It was the 89, which was the height of good quality coke in London, as some people will tell you. But you muted yourself.
I know it's background noise as always. But as much as I do like Keith Ledger, just still, man, Nicholson, every dialogue, every mannerism, he is just, because I'm watching it about 10, 12 years now, and watching this morning, Nicholson, every penny he got, he deserved. I mean, it's a fantastic performance. But the biggest thing too is the Danny Elfman. I would argue 89 is up there, like, with the top 5 soundtracks of all time. Every musical note in that film is fucking perfection, man.
It's still the best Batman theme as well. And Michael Keaton is still the best live action Batman, in my opinion.
I mean, it's definitely has some, it's definitely aged in certain aspects, but overall as a film, though, I could see why it's so just watching his, because this is the 35th anniversary for Batman 89, and it's what a fantastic movie.
That's not an unpopular opinion. I also think he's the best Joker. I absolutely agree, and I know a lot of other people that think that.
It's like you can really tell Mark Hamill labeled his performance and laughter after that film, because Jack Nicholson, it's just, man.
I do like Mark Hamill's in the animated. Very, very good. One of his best performances, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Northern, is there any other show you want to mention or film or whatever before we wrap up?
A very forgotten spaghetti western called My Name Is Nobody with Terence Hill and Henry Fonda.
I remember that.
Yeah, it's basically about an old gunslinger played by Henry Fonda who wants to retire, but now he's got this other guy called Nobody who's who wants him to go down in a blaze of glory. But he's also got a bit of agenda himself, and it's a very funny but sadly forgotten spaghetti western with a very catchy theme tune and probably one of the best bar drinking scenes ever.
Yeah, I saw this not a million moons ago, actually, probably about 5-6 years ago. The other side of the pandemic. I remember watching it. It is good. Sergio Leone, because people forget that Fonda did a couple of those. What would you give it out of 10?
I'll give it an 8 out of 10. It doesn't top Sergio Leone's because he wrote it, he didn't direct it, there's definitely bits of his. You can tell he's had a little bit of a hand in some of it, but it's still a fun, forgotten western that deserves another watch. And like I said, one of the best drinking scenes ever, where he has to drink this like shot of Fireball whiskey, and he still has to be sober enough to aim his gun while shooting a shot glass out of the air. And it's very funny and it's very suspenseful at the same time.
What happened to Terence Hill? Did he pass quite young? Because
he's still going, apparently. He's still going.
I was going to say, I feel like we didn't see much of him later in life, but maybe
he's very funny in it. He's very eccentric. He's very laid back.
That's a great shot. Look at that. Yeah. Love that shot. Love that shot. So good. All the horses on the horizon there. Okay. Well, I need to watch it again now. Oh yeah, that's right. It's got R.G. Armstrong in it. He's a classic like Western actor. Did loads.
A lot of familiar faces from all the spaghetti westerns are in there.
There's Jeffrey Lewis that we were talking about earlier on the Van Damme
I'll
stream.
Be damned. There he is.
Good old Joffrey.
Yeah, Jeffrey. Yeah. Not Joffrey from You spelled Joffrey with a J, man.
This is my joke that Toxic is stealing for you.
Now, which Western set do you think that is? Do you think that's one in Spain?
Is that from Sergio Leone?
That's from My Name Is Nobody, but where do you think that set is?
Arizona, Tombstone, New Mexico. I don't know.
It's probably somewhere in Europe, like Spain or whatever.
No, it's in that big movie ranch that they probably filmed outside of LA.
No, I don't think it's not that one, because I recognize that one. I know the one you're talking about. I'm curious to see if this is in the information for the movie, because I don't recognize that, and I don't think it's the Burbank one.
I think it'll be somewhere in Spain, because a lot of these spaghetti westerns were always shot in there, wasn't it? Because
Spain or Italy.
Yeah.
Directorial credit dispute. Oh, the cinematographer and the director had a falling out about the film. Anyway, where was it? Where was it shot? Where was it shot?
Is there a lot of desert in Spain and Italy?
It was actually shot. 80% of the outdoor scenes were actually shot in the United States. The film was shot in 9 weeks. Filming took place in Acoma Pueblo, the ghost town of Cabazon, the former mining town of Mugalon, the mission of San Esteban del Rey in New Mexico, and the Gypsum Dunes of White Sands. So that's interesting. So actually, it mainly shot in the States, which is unusual for a Sergio Leone Western. So there you go. So the ghost town of Cabazon, that sounds kind of cool. Let's look that up. Yeah, so you give it 8 out of 10, right?
Yeah, I give it 8 out of 10.
Enzo, did you have any other film you wanted to mention before we?
I watched Ernest Goes to Jail last night. That was funny and stupid. He becomes magnetized for no reason and flies. Yeah, a lot of unlocked child memory core memories last night. It was fun. And yeah, Big Beacon, the audiobook from Alan Partridge.
Oh, I'm also, mate. I'm
3.5 hours into it. Go to YouTube. The 7-hour videos on YouTube. 3 hours and 22 minutes in. There is the funniest sex scene ever. It's amazing. Please check it out. It's great.
3 hours 22 minutes in. I don't think I've got to that bit yet.
It's so good. You'll know when you get to it, dude.
I'm probably going to go and check it right now when we
it's amazing.
I've just looked up this ghost town where they said they filmed it. I found a picture of it. I don't think it's the shot that we just saw, but here you go. Check this out. Look at that.
Yeah, New Mexico, Cabazon.
That's a pretty cool location with this like dominating Close Encounters of the Third Kind hilltop type structure in the background. I quite like that.
Yeah, Cabazon is a type of fish. That's weird.
Tox, did you have one thing you wanted to mention before we wrap up? Leroy, by the way, is in the house. Here he is. Best Western I've seen is Tombstone. That is a good Western, but there are better.
Mayor of Kingstown. If you're still sleeping on this show, man, I don't know.
We're not doing that tonight. I'm doing a special on Mayor of Kingstown.
Oh, okay.
And we have mentioned it before.
But yeah, watch the show so you can be on the big special.
Yeah,
we're
gonna do a special on American Kingstown.
Season 4.
How many episodes into season 4 are we?
4.
I'm waiting for it all to drop so I can binge it.
This was season 3.
So 6 more weeks.
Season 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Mayor of Kingstown. I'm gonna do Spartacus, and I'm gonna try and start doing the Shield all this year.
Fact checking me, Lance.
Yeah. So, well, my guest who's coming on tomorrow was in 3 episodes of the Shield.
What?
Yeah, he was in 3 episodes. Undercover cop.
Nice.
Yeah,
so,
this is season 3. This boy season 4.
I apologize. Yes, it's season 3. I apologize. That's my bad.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if like something like if I was missing something.
Thank you, Leroy. Thank you.
Yeah. Leroy knows his Mayor of Kingstown shit.
Oh, he likes it.
So, all right. Well, we're going to wrap up. We're at the midnight hour. Coming up next, we have a couple of things I'm going to plug. I've got Band of Brothers, of course, this Sunday. Do tune in for that, 8 o'clock. It might be slightly later. Might set it slightly later because I'm going out on a day trip, so it might be 9 this Sunday. But we have actor Jose Zuniga coming on tomorrow at 9 o'clock, and of course, going to be doing The Acolyte after at some point, probably around midnight.
Mm-hmm.
God be with you.
Blue and I will be on that for about an hour or so.
Buy some liquor tomorrow.
Yeah, you're in my prayers, my friends.
Next Sunday, Band of Brothers, The Last Patrol with special guests. Yeah. Also, he has Shane. Oh my God, what's wrong with my brain? The guy who plays Doc Rowe on Band of Brothers. is the actor Shane, surname currently escaping my brain. He has agreed to come on as well, and this is a friend of mine, so I should be able to remember his surname. So clearly, you should not drink a large glass of prosecco during a stream, but yeah, he's going to come on. So looking forward to having him on, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I think he's going to come on the last stream. So yeah, okay. So Stupenzo, you got anything you want to plug?
Tomorrow, me and Lord Toxic watch Showdown in Little Tokyo. That'll come out tomorrow.
I remember watching that with my dad. That's Dolph Lundgren, isn't it?
Yeah, we recorded that back in February. Yeah, me and Luke also watched like The Hard Way back in February, and that's finally come out. So yeah, we're finally getting into our action movies. So yeah, Showdown in Little Tokyo tomorrow. The Hard Way last week, and yeah, I might do a Stupenzo cast some point soon. But other than that, yeah, Sundays, you know, doing the whole live streams still and hanging out on other people's channels.
Well, I mean, don't forget the important thing, Stupenzo, is that all of your streams, including The Hard Way, are done on biodegradable film stock.
Right.
No, anyone who's watched The Hard Way will know what that means. Blue, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, a little film's coming out in a couple of days later. You may have heard of it, called Horizon.
Shit, I'm going to see that on Friday. I'm going to the cinema with Predator Dark Ages director James Booth. Me and him are going to see it together. So
looking forward to seeing this movie.
It's got a really low screen release in the UK. I'm actually quite annoyed.
Yeah.
It's not on at any of the big premiere screens in London. So we're going to have to see it at a shitty little screen, which is actually just 2 minutes up the road from me, which is all very convenient. But I wanted to see it on a proper, like, massive IMAX, and it's not on any of the IMAX screens.
Yeah. Well, remember we showed this article a couple months ago. It's tracking very low, and I'm hoping it's good. And if it's good, hopefully good word of mouth. We'll see. But it's
I think
he just quit. He quit Yellowstone in order to pursue more movies. He's back to movies. No more TV.
Yeah.
He said.
Well, he did Yellowstone for what, like 6-7 seasons? I mean, he did his time on
I
it.
heard it's one of those, like, I need to pause right now, wait for me. And they're like, well, you know, the show's more important than you. It's like, well, why not just wait for your actor to finish his project? But that's Hollywood for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they can kill him off in Yellowstone if they really want. But, I think he's got a pretty good relationship with the showrunner of Yellowstone. I think they're pretty. They're okay with each other.
Yeah, he's not against coming back, I heard, and finishing it. He just said it was a scheduling issue. This is a passion project. He dumped his own personal money into this film. Like,
$40 million.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, man. So same amount of money as Toxic's sex toy collection. On that note, Tox, do you want to plug anything?
Besides my sex toys, yes.
Absolutely.
I will be premiering a new episode of Consider the Source tonight. After midnight, it's Gone Girl. So the film versus the book. And Dudicus and I will be continuing our season 2 rewatch of Highlander, the television series, on Thursday.
I'm disappointed to hear that Consider the Source is not like a program where you have a really juicy cheeseburger. You decide which sauce to put on from your condiments, and then it's this is the perfect sauce for this burger. Consider the sauce. Maybe think about that as a future.
I will definitely put that into it. Oh, and also, I guess I'll be taking an impromptu trip out to Overland Park here shortly. Missouri.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, you've got to get me a signed picture. So, Kevin Costner is on Camp Pendleton right now to give a free view to the Marines. That's awesome. They've been promoting it all over the base. I drove past the theater today, and there wasn't anyone waiting in line. That is disappointing. But that's a good idea, though, because if military networks all get behind it, and all the US military say, yeah, we want to see this movie.
Yeah,
I want this to be a success for Costner. He's given a lot to our industry and given us some great performances over the years. I'd like to see this project be a success for him. I really would.
Ooh, Barbara Lawrence, Camp Pendleton, getting a free premiere of the movie right now.
Yeah, they do that on military bases because they only have one screen at the post theater, and they'll do that with those showings and stuff.
I'm glad you know Barbara well enough to call her Babs. My mother was also named Barbara, by the way. She hated Babs though. Babs was Babs was a non-discussion in our house.
I would have been Mrs. Nielsen all of the time. Yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am would have been
Barbara Wire.
It was because of Barbara Windsor. She didn't want people to think it was the same. Anyway, okay, all right. So I guess that's it from us, guys. We're going to be wrapping it up here. I'm going to be back tomorrow twice. Well, definitely 9 o'clock tomorrow with the Jose Zuniga interview. Definitely check that out. It's going to be pretty special. I would love my core fan base to share that stream.
Jose Zuniga.
Yeah, because we really want it to be a success.
I just didn't ask if I'm promoting anything.
Oh, Northern, did I leave you out?
Yeah, you did, but it's only one thing anyway. I'm doing a Bastard's breakdown.
Sorry, mate. That was not.
Yeah, I'm just going to do a Bastard breakdown of Perfect Blue with Enzo on Friday, and Critical may not be there because he's busy. I think it's with some music business, and Fandad Menace should hopefully be there as well because he's going to be watching this for the first time, so it'll be a good little. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to try and watch
Barbara works on bass. She's a nurse. I mean, you shouldn't have told us that because that's going to conjure up all kind of nurse images. And Babs has been a long time nickname for me. Barbara, I really do appreciate you being a regular on my channel, and I mean that all joking aside. Thank you so much for supporting me, and that goes for everybody that's been on the Nielsen rating today and in the chat. So on that note, we're just going to see it out with the trailer for the show that we are reviewing on Sundays. Do check that out. 8 o'clock every Sunday. Might be 9 o'clock this weekend, however. I have a feeling we're going to go 9 o'clock. Until then, we'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock for the industry interview number 65.
It's been 2 years since I seen home. 2 years. Fucking war.
At 0600 hours, we will begin training to go to war.
This is not dog company. This is easy company. The first and finest company in this regiment.
Each trooper will learn this operation by heart and know his mission to the detail.
We're invading Europe, my friend.
All you have to do is remember what you were taught. I guarantee you gravity will take care of the rest.
We are on the eve of the largest action in the history of warfare.
It's Normandy.
We all do our jobs. Everything will be fine.
Scared. We're all scared.
What made you decide to join the paratroopers? Fire!
I wanted to fight with the best, sir.
Tonight, we're gonna have to cross the river. This crowd's gonna catch some hell. We're gonna have to find another way into Germany.
Easy, you'll head up the mountain through the Ober-Salzburg. Take the Eagle's Nest.
Man, it's been a long war. It's been a tough war. We fought bravely, proudly for your country. We're a special group. We found in one another a bond that exists only in combat.